everyone, and welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. I'm doing the intro this week. Leroy is here, I think. There's always a question there. Leroy, are you here?
Well, physically. I don't know, mentally maybe.
Well, that's what always worries me. Anyway, we have a really packed, loaded show for everyone.
Thank you for my concern there.
Okay, well, I apparently have concern for you. Boy, I've been doing this show way too long now.
I think so.
Anyway, we got a pretty loaded show here. Only really have a couple of topics to go through here, but it's going to be quite the loaded show. But first and foremost, Leroy, once again, as we announced early on, this is a fan-based podcast. We're willing to have on anyone at any time.
That is definitely true, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our buddy Jay is on the show. Jay, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Fantastic to have you on. Jay, a little background. Basically, whenever we have a guest on, they kind of just, we give you about a minute, 30 seconds, kind of give us your background in wrestling, and, just tell us a little bit about yourself and wrestling. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus. How do I go back to the diaper area? See, I've been doing this wrestling thing.
I mean, it's fine. The diaper area for Leroy was back when they were leaves, so.
We had cloth diapers when I was a baby.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you? That's fascinating. Anyway.
We going back to when wrestling was coming on Saturday nights even, I'm kind of old school. I'm going to look probably older than both of you guys at the moment. So I'm really back there with the...
You can't be as old as Leroy. He's got pictures that
I was watching Ric Flair when he didn't have flabby tits.
So
way back
maybe not as much as Leroy. But yes, I love this wrestling. I used to do a little backyard wrestling back in my day.
I think we all have, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Make the little paper belts.
There we go.
So the championship thing. And so
I beat my brother up a couple of times. Dad wasn't too pleased about it, but we never broke anything, though. Never broke anything.
Oh, I did a lot of diving off my so-called top rope. To make believe. So.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm truly excited to be on the show with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I mean, we've been trying to get you on. We were trying to find the best way to bring you on.
I got my own little wrestling name as well.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Justin
fantastic.
Case.
Really?
Justin Case.
I like it.
Case is spelled with a K, though. Like
Okay, yeah.
K-A-S-E,
That does work.
It'll be interesting. Well, you got to be careful because we all know Vince don't like two names, so he'll probably drop you just down to Case at some point.
That's so true.
So you might want to come up with something else there.
It's like Case closed.
There. Can't be any worse than what Spot Monkey does.
That is definitely.
Can't be any worse than the writing of Spot Monkey Wrestling. Anyway, so on the show today we have, like I said, only a couple of things. Basically, as recently we've all known, we've been kind of putting off a little bit. The last ride for The Undertaker has finally concluded. Although tonight, after the horror show, there is a special that is basically, I think, just him telling some old stories and everything.
Yeah, I think there was some rides from the last.
Can't wait to watch that.
That'll be kind of fun to watch. Yes.
So today is on the show Undertaker Appreciation Day. We're kind of going to chronicle the career of the greatest WWE creation, I guess.
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Hey, can we do a couple birthday shout-outs that we had?
Of course we can. We can always do
All right.
this, so go ahead. Leroy.
Well, on Friday, it's a couple days late here, but it was either Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
The lovely Mandy Rose.
Celebrate.
She is 30. Otis did a shout-out for her, and I shared it in the lounge because we got to do it. And then today, you call him Carrying Cross, Killer Cross. It's his birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Both those birthdays involve some very beautiful women. I just want to point that out.
Well, I saw a nice picture of him with Scarlett on his shoulder, and her...
Still a family show, Leroy.
Her ass was, I'm sorry, her ass was hanging out, and it looked very nice.
That is a lucky man right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn right. Oof.
Anyway,
all right.
So I guess, Leroy, what we're going to do is today's going to be a compliment sandwich. We're going to start the show off with some wonderful birthdays.
Yes.
Of two the WWE and NXT superstars. And now we're going to get to what I would call the turd section of the day. We're going to do a compliment on top of an insult on top of some compliments. So, although most of the show is going to be dedicated to The Undertaker, the running story that's been going on throughout wrestling recently, at least on our show and many other shows, has been the ratings war / just Wednesday night wars between NXT and AEW, also known as Spot Monkey Wrestling on the show. And last Wednesday was NXT just having a normal, I guess, rather random Wednesday night show on top of what was known as Fight for the Fallen by AEW. I don't really understand what we're doing with all these F's. I mean, like Fighter Fest with a Y, Fight for the Fallen.
Well, they had that P thing going for a while, and I told you what I thought it was, but
Pride.
F.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about French fries.
FTR. I don't know what it is.
He's the good point there, Maybe they're hooked on French fries this week.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, so quick rundown, because like I said, we're not going to delve into and rip apart a show that, in my opinion, I mean, Jay, you've been watching wrestling on television for a while.
Yes.
NXT had a huge moment with Keith Lee last week, or 2 weeks ago.
I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, it was great. But then, again, because everything doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour every night, they had sort of a slower night that was coming off of what you would call a pay-per-view. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would say Great American Bash would have been a 3-hour, 4-hour show.
Yeah,
but again, it was a calm night. It was laid back. NXT obviously lost this week to Fight for the Fallen, but again, I don't think NXT cared. No. They pretty much just gave it to them, because again, NXT is trying to give you a consistent story being told, whereas Spot Monkey is, we're going to give you all the gymnastics we can frickin' think of every single night.
Well, I think NXT, I thought they put on a decent, I mean, it wasn't a 5-star show,
God, no.
but
no.
I mean, the main Keith Lee came out there and got a challenge out and wrestled somebody, heck, that was a good match.
I
loved it.
I think my only issue right now with Keith Lee, although I do think he is still a little bit green when it comes to his actual wrestling, I would say, and again, you can't really fix this, but they have to find a way for him to be a better promo, just because I've never really seen a guy that big who talks like Keith Lee. He's very soft-spoken for what you would call a giant in the sport.
Yes,
and
I agree.
And I mean, going back to what you guys watched and what I've watched back on replay. I mean, Ron Simmons was not a soft-spoken individual.
No, he was not.
No one. Booker T.
Ahmed Johnson.
Booker T. had nothing to do with.
Yeah, none of them.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say here, Jay is a young African American man. So
I like the young. I like the young. I like that.
Yeah, not a bro. To be fair, we're all young compared to Leroy.
See, he calls you young and he calls me an old bastard.
Well, you are. I mean,
well, okay. But, I'm old. I don't know if I'm a bastard.
Well, you're definitely.
I know my father.
Bastard, but anyway.
Well.
But anyway, no. But I mean, when we talk about guys that we consider to be both Keith Lee, both I would say giants and African American performers, Big Show's got a big voice.
He does.
I've never known someone that was the combination of Keith Lee being African American, being his size, who was so soft spoken. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing with Keith Lee, but they need to find a way to present him in a way that is either less scripted, so that he can maybe bring out more of himself.
He might can go to Brock Lesnar route. More or less quiet.
Have a mouthpiece.
Well, but again, and we'll talk about this later in the show, it's about how you've presented someone for the period of time.
That's true.
I mean, Adam Cole came in as the leader of the UE. He came in as a loudmouth little prick, and that's kind of what he was built on. So when he comes out and speaks, everyone kind of is like, okay, this is what you've presented him. Keith Lee's been presented as sort of, he doesn't talk as much. When he was in the feud with Dominik Dijakovic did most of the talking. I would say Finn Balor and Adam Cole did more talking. Johnny Gargano did more talking. Keith Lee's been the very quiet sort of. Am I wrong?
No, I agree.
That's what he has been.
His mic skills ain't really there.
Well, and you know what? I can't even say that because in my opinion, it was a good promo.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, Leroy. Would a manager work for Keith Lee at this point? Because you could go the Mia Yim route because they're dating, but I feel like they're both involved in two different things that have nothing to do with each other that much.
Yeah, a manager might work, or a valet, but they don't really have anybody that could be a manager for him. I mean, if he gets back seen, sits down with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and he learns from them. That could probably help.
Can you have two better guys essentially producing your show?
No, you cannot.
No way. There's no way.
You cannot.
You have Triple H, who's all around one of the greatest of all time, and then you have Shawn Michaels, who I would say in ring, nobody was better, and on the mic he was definitely up there with.
Yeah.
He was able to talk, but it's just, and now with NXT UK still be shutting down, obviously Shawn Michaels isn't writing television for them right now, so. But I guess I don't know what to do with Keith Lee's promo. It's not bad. I'm not shitting on it. But my whole thing is it doesn't fit what he is. He's a giant.
Yes, it doesn't fit his whole.
Well, and Jay, if I may, I've never really known, whether it's wrestling or otherwise, I've never known an African American man who's really been that soft spoken. I feel like
I agree.
Well, I mean,
Malcolm X, not that big.
No. LeBron James, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all young African American men, but they spoke and you listened. And I feel like Keith Lee kind of turns you off a little bit when he speaks. So I don't know what you would do there. But anyway, I mean the match.
Iterate into the basketball world, but Shaquille is not really a big speaker. He's kind of soft, big guy.
But let's be honest here. Well, let's be honest. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is the outlier. I feel like Shaquille O'Neal, even when he was a basketball player, you knew he was going to do television. You knew he was going to do something after basketball because, again,
most definitely,
there's always people in any sport or any profession that you're just different than everybody else.
And you can tell when you see him.
Oh, yeah. No, without a doubt.
Big old check. Who you mean?
Yep. Anyway, like I said, NXT was quiet. There wasn't a lot to it. Tegan Nox had a better showing than I thought she was going to have against Io Shirai. I think we all knew that Io Shirai was going to win because Io's been so fantastic that there's no reason to take the belt off her. And again, Tegan Nox I think is see for me, I feel like Tegan Nox is the same issue as Keith Lee, except it's more blaring. And to me, there's not a lot of personality to Tegan.
No, there really isn't.
Tegan is a fantastic, looks amazing wrestler. Okay, I'm a comic book nerd. I think her Captain Marvel type of gimmick, it works, but sadly it works to her detriment in wrestling, not in comics. Because remember, in comics, you have so many crossovers that if you have a character like Captain Marvel is a very bland character. There's not a lot to her.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, people were like in the movie, oh, Brie Larson was so blah. I'm like, so's the character. Read the damn comic book before you comment on my movie. God damn it.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be Barry Allen. But anyway, that's an argument for a different day. Anyway, but no, I want to like Tegan Nox. They gave her and by the way, congratulations to Tegan Nox. She came out for the LGBTQ community on Twitter.
Yeah, I did see that. That was wonderful.
Moment for her.
Awesome.
It was fantastic. Obviously, from what we've read and heard, she's gotten nothing but support backstage. Fantastic to hear.
I just love it when they come out and they're themselves and they go, "This is me." I'm like, okay, you're cool. No matter what, I still love you, man. You're awesome.
I wish I could get less of that in Spot Monkey, but anyway.
Well, all right. Are you ready for?
No,
are you almost ready for that
I'm
yet?
Ready.
Okay, all right.
But it's just, I mean, okay, you've both watched Tegan Nox before.
Oh yeah.
Does she really stand out? I mean,
not to me. She
I mean,
not yet.
I mean, I hate to be that guy, but but if we're trying to build female stars, because in my opinion, NXT's women's division is about 3 or 4 deep, and then there's just a bunch of girls that need some grooming.
Yeah.
Not the grooming that they thought Jim Cornette was doing, but we'll worry about that on a different day. But no, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things where it's like everyone says it's the deepest women's roster. After about 3-4 women, I can't think of that roster as being what I think people think it is. I think SmackDown and Raw blow them out of the water in terms of pure talent.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I agree
yes.
on that one.
Okay,
sure.
so, but I mean, it's like, if we're trying to build Tegan Nox, why have her win a Fatal 4-Way, then get beat by Io, and then have Dakota Kai kick Io? Why not just have Dakota Kai win the Fatal 4-Way and go straight into Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai? But it's just like, I feel like the Tegan Nox match was unnecessary. It didn't help anyone. Io looked like Io Shirai. You can't make Io Shirai look physically any better in the ring than she already is. She is the best women's wrestler, I think, on any roster anywhere. Is Io Shirai.
She's
but I mean, Tegan, in my opinion, just I don't think the video helped her because it was mostly just her working out. It was mostly just kind of a build up to a girl that, again, I have nothing against Tegan Nox. I like Tegan Nox, but she's bland. And right now, I just don't know if they've found a way to transition her from. I mean, like, okay, first of all, we all know that there are great workers in wrestling.
Yeah,
but
a lot of them.
But the stars are the ones who can talk.
Yes.
And work.
Yep.
Yes.
And I don't hate Tegan Nox, but I don't get Tegan Nox right now. I don't know what to think about her. She's been presented as, I guess, Dakota Kai's friend, who then Dakota Kai beat up, and that was supposed to launch Tegan Nox, and it just didn't do anything.
I've seen that route before.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
it's worked for some people.
Well, no, it's worked for some people. But the thing is about it is that you guys have seen her, and I'm gonna start with Jay.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Do you? I mean, like when you think NXT Women's Division,
right?
Do you think Tegan Nox?
I don't. Be honest with you. I like Bianca Belair.
Who's actually now on Raw.
Yeah, she is. But, she is now.
With her hubby.
But she was the face of that division, in my opinion, regardless of ever being champion. She was the face of that division for a good 2 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Because everything about Bianca Belair, and by the way, when they came to St. Paul, NXT did for the 10th birthday of NXT. Correct. It was the 10-year anniversary. We got a surprise match with Bianca Belair.
Oh wow!
We didn't even know she was on the card. The card did not show her, and all of a sudden she comes out, and I look over to my buddy Jason, and Jason's just like, "This was not planned."
That's perfect.
And she put on a show.
Wow.
I mean,
and who did she wrestle? Do you remember?
I think it was an underneath girl.
Okay.
Just some girl that like.
Some job.
It might have been a bigger girl on the roster. I don't know, but again, I don't understand what we're doing with the women's roster down there because again, Deonna Purrazzo just won the Impact Championship. Who was she before WWE cut her? But no one knew who she was.
Yeah, that was kind of. I was kind of surprised with that one.
Now hold on, the indie people probably knew who she was.
Correct.
But when she was in NXT, she was barely in NXT for 2 months before they cut everybody. Oh, wow. So it was one of those things where it was like she had like 2 television matches where she was okay. She was kind of coming across as like the sophisticated upper class girl. She had like violin music to her thing, but it's just one of those things where it's like, who were you? And then again, because you got heat for being cut from WWE, everybody wants you. Impact brings you in, and all of a sudden you're the top, and you go after Jordynne Grace, who, by the way, Jordynne Grace is a big girl, but she can wrestle. She's a great worker.
She is I love her. And she's awesome.
And it's like, but again, this is. Can they get a writer in Impact at all that knows what the hell they're doing?
Probably not.
You took the title at Slammiversary off of Jordynne Grace. Why? Because it was a big pay-per-view. It has to be a title change. You brought the girl in. She had some heat from WWE. They even said on the broadcast she's been released from the Stamford concrete prison. And I'm like,
oh wow,
wow.
And I'm like, geez, could you be promoting WWE any more in this moment? Seriously,
really?
But
if they
you can bring somebody in with some heat, that's fine. But to make her the champion day one, who was she? And maybe someone out there can tell me that, she did this. I looked her up. There was nothing impressive on the indies until she got to WWE when all of a sudden her name came out. And then boom, they got rid of her because they cut a bunch of people. And now all of a sudden Impact is like, let's do what we've been doing from day one. Let's get a bunch of WWE cast-offs.
Yep, they known for doing that.
And
try to boost them right away. Right to the top.
And they got quite a few.
If you want to make money in this business, go to the WWE. Literally have like a bullshit 5-week run on television.
And then get fined.
Ask to be released, and then call Impact. They're going to give you a ton of money for nothing.
And put a belt on you.
Exactly.
They got a couple casts off this weekend for their pay-per-view, and then they have a few coming up.
I'm okay with Heath Slater because Heath Slater said himself he felt like he had given up. He felt like he had lost his passion. So if this reignites Heath, all the best to Heath. I mean,
I'm a little lost with the Heath. So is he signed now with?
I think he's signed with Impact, although they wouldn't let him in the match for the world title because I guess he wasn't officially signed. Okay. But he's going to be tagging with Rhino again, like they did up in WWE.
Wow, okay.
So, but Eric Young showed up, and all of a sudden, Eric Young has some cachet in Impact. I'm not knocking.
Yeah, he's been there for years.
My guy.
But let me list off some of the people that were at Slammiversary. Deonna Purrazzo, if I'm saying your name wrong, I don't care. I don't know who the hell you were until 2 weeks ago. The Good Brothers were there. I'm okay with them because, truth be told, as much money as they were making WWE, they weren't really being used to what I think the Good Brothers can be used to. They can now also work in Japan, which is where they've always had more fun. Yep. But you had Eric Young. EC3 is back.
Oh, wow.
It's just, look, I get it. These are guys that you helped bring up. But they were cast off in WWE for like 2 years, and now they're back to you. They're WWE cast-offs. I'm sorry. Every wrestling company that has a TV contract right now is booking these WWE guys that WWE didn't want anymore. And by the way, can we get off WWE's back about releasing these people? Like, I mean, half of them weren't doing anything. We've already discussed this on the show. And when the Good Brothers left, I get it. You're like budget cuts. They were making a lot of money.
I thought they would have been around for a while.
Well,
actually,
so did I. Yeah.
Well, supposedly there's a story going around that backstage that Paul Heyman added their name to the cut list, and
they was just part of the pay-per-view with
right. Yeah. They were just part of the Boneyard match.
Yes.
But then they got cut, and I guess there's a report that AJ Styles asked Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman said, no, I didn't do that. And then he went to Vince, and Vince said Paul had them added to the list of cuts.
Yeah, so I saw something like that too, yeah.
So I'm not here to delve into things. If AJ Styles and the Good Brothers want to talk about it, that's their deal. I'm not here to shit on anybody, because here's the deal. I'm still a Paul Heyman guy. I am. Yes, I'm sorry, I am.
I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
I don't think Paul is the greatest of all time, but I've gotten into wrestling a lot with Paul. Yeah. So I'm not here to talk about that. But anyway, back to what we were doing here. If you go back and you talk about Fight for the Fallen, okay? We're going to talk about Fight for the Fallen here, yes. Which, again, Leroy, we were talking about this off camera. What is up with the Fs? What do they do?
What, they had the Fs? Then they had the P's before.
For those of you who,
and I said there was like a penis thing going on, but this French fries.
For those of you who are wondering about NXT, that was NXT. We did NXT.
Yes.
NXT was a toss-out for me. Yes. They came off a great moment for the Great American Bash. It was awesome to see Keith Lee win. The spoilers online, I never looked at them.
Neither did I.
And they still won the ratings war that week, so obviously spoilers didn't hurt them. They still won the ratings war. Wow. So now...
They put on a damn good match. I mean, that's it.
And obviously Fight for the Fallen had a big title match because Jon Moxley couldn't be there for Fyter Fest due to his wife being ill. So... they put it on this match. If that's what swung the ratings, cool. I don't care. But you went from one pay-per-view straight into another pay-per-view. So what? Every single week we're going to look through the dictionary and find another F word and change the spelling, and we're just going to have... Is every night in Spot Monkey just going to be F-related? Like,
they're
tonight's episode is brought to you by the letter F. Even though it can't be flipping garbage. Anyway, go ahead.
They're going to find another, they use P, they use F. What are they going to use? They're going to use like M or N next time for two. I don't know. Maybe they're just looking through. Looking through a thesaurus. They're going.
Well, they already have two N's in the inner circle, so I mean, there you go. But anyway, okay.
They should use Z because sometimes I just want to sleep.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, so okay. Once again, Leroy, you have not seen Fight for the Fallen.
No, I really didn't want to.
Jay, you have not caught up on AEW very much. You haven't followed them too much, which is fine.
That's all right. You keep your lunch down, and it'll be good.
You haven't missed much. Okay, so all right. So let me just set the scene here first of all. For Jay's purposes here on the show, AEW is owned by the Khan family, who own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Correct.
Tony Khan is not the owner. His daddy is, but Tony Khan is the on-screen Vince McMahon.
And I always thought he was.
Because his dad only bought the company to compete with Vince because Vince started the XFL. He was mad at Vince. That blew over. We know what happened there. But the thing about it is that Tony Khan is supposedly a guy who collected old Mid-South wrestling tapes. He loves the old school stuff. You can't tell by watching this crap.
No, because that ain't even close to old school. What the hell?
Because anyway... So, his executive vice presidents are as follows. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks are all executive vice presidents. Okay. He fell in love with the Bullet Club, and now he's made them into the talent guys. They're running the show. The Young Bucks book the tag team division. Cody honestly, I think Cody just sticks to his own garbage.
I think so.
I think Cody is solely on his own. He doesn't care about it. But the Bucks are booking most of it. Kenny's got the women's division. But anyway, so Fight for the Fallen is a pay-per-view that is now on TV due to the pandemic and the quarantine. So here it is. 5 matches to go up against NXT, which again, NXT didn't care. But again, as we've chronicled on the show, I feel like NXT is trying to do what you should do when you have a television show, is build the damn show.
Yes.
I don't care if this... Because here's the deal. Law & Order has a bunch of throwaway... cases, and then they'll spend 5 weeks on, this one big case to end the season.
Right.
But every single night in Spot Monkey it's the end of the season. It's the end of the season. Every match is, and again, I like Lucha Libre, I like indie style wrestling, but every single match doesn't need 11 minutes.
Yes.
That's what they average.
Yes.
In a 2-hour show, every match is 11 minutes. But here's the deal. Wow. It doesn't have to be 75 flips. Every single guy... Okay, here's the deal. The Rock has always had a a certain amount of moves that we've all looked for.
Oh yeah.
And it goes from the sharpshooter, the people's elbow, it's the rock bottom, it's him in the corner punching the dude, looks back at his hand and then punches again. But here's the deal. Rock didn't do all those moves in the same match every Monday Night Raw. He didn't do all of them. He might have gotten to 2 or 3, but he didn't do all 17 moves in the same match. But that's what every match in AEW is. Every single match is, Kenny Omega does the one-wing angel. He's going to hit it whether it's the finish or not, even though it is his finisher. Kenny Omega does a tope suicida, whatever Excalibur says. I don't even know anymore. I can't understand the man's voice half the goddamn time. But it's just, Kenny Omega has the V-trigger, which is his, jumping knee. Kenny Omega has this, he has that. But I see everything Kenny Omega has ever done every single night, every single match. It doesn't matter if it's a tag team match, if it's a singles match. He did it in a 6-man tag team match this week. So anyway, freaking match number 1 was Cody with Arn Anderson, who, by the way, one of the best talkers you'll ever see, Arn Anderson. Has been it's Arn.
Oh, Arn.
It's the actual Arn Anderson from the Four Horsemen.
Oh, okay.
So here's the deal, Jay. This is supposed to be a sports-based presentation.
Yeah.
So they have records.
Okay.
Like 6-0 in tag team, 8-0 overall.
Exactly.
But so managers are called coaches. Fine, I don't care. You still have me. But Arn Anderson, who could cut a promo like no one's business back in the day, he barely speaks. They don't even give him the microphone. He talks 1 week, 3 weeks in a row, he doesn't say a word, and Cody just talks for himself. This is one of the greatest talkers, one of the greatest overall workers this business has ever seen.
Wow.
And you don't even give him... Why? I got nothing against Taz, love him, but he talks for Cage every week. Why does Arn not have a microphone attached to his belt buckle? I don't understand this.
He should, always.
Definitely.
Anyway,
I agree.
So, we were talking about building matches. We were talking about storytelling, right, Jay?
Correct.
They announced last week on Fyter Fest Night 2 that Cody would be facing Sonny Kiss, as I told you earlier, for the TNT Championship. There was no reason why. There was nothing built. There was never a promo package. It was just all out of nowhere. Cody is going to face Sonny Kiss, because once again, Sonny Kiss is part of the 75 wrestlers that they signed when this whole thing started that they've never put on TV except for the audience guys, because you can't put them on TV.
Yeah, and I don't even know who he is.
Now, I'm going to be honest, because I'm going to make this clear before we do our actual indie wrestling episode. Sonny Kiss reminds me a lot of Devon Monroe, who you guys both know from Heavy on Wrestling.
Yeah, Devon.
But here's the deal. So Devon Monroe, gay, flamboyant African-American wrestler. Same with Devon Monroe. Great. Awesome. Don't care about those parts. Can you go in the ring? Sonny Kiss comes out to cheerleaders. He's a better dancer than the cheerleaders. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. He's a better dancer than the cheerleaders. Right. I give him that.
Leave the cheerleaders in back then.
But here's the deal. Going back to Devon, we all know Devon has certain quirks that get him popular. He grabs you with his ankles and shoves your head into his butt. Sonny Kiss does the same thing. But here's the deal. When I watch Devon wrestle, he gets it. He sells. He interests me. Sonny Kiss is another one of these if anybody watches the Jim Cornette Experience, they've now resorted to calling Spot Monkey Wrestling a gymnastics meet. But what else can you call it? If I use that, that's not me stealing it from them. That's what I'm watching. It's a gymnastics competition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But here's the deal. Okay, when I watch Devon, I can separate him from Sonny Kiss, even though they are very similar gimmicks. Sonny Kiss worked as, I think it was Exo-Licious in Lucha Underground. He was there for 1 season.
I think so.
It was the same gimmick, but Sonny Kiss was Exo-Licious. That was his name in Lucha Underground. But it made sense because it was Lucha Underground. It was a cinematic performance. It was a little more scripted because it was Lucha, and it was a lot more high-flying. You don't need, remember when we talked about how the Lucha Brothers can't do an American-style tag team match because they just,
I remember that,
They don't tag very often. They're jumping in and out, doing whatever they want. But that's Lucha. So when Lucha Underground did it, I was okay because they were trying to give me a Lucha-style show for American audiences. But it was a Lucha-style show. It was a telenovela, soap opera, with wrestling, which is what Lucha Underground is, and was, and that's what Lucha Libre is. But this is an American promotion that is supposed to be the alternative to WWE. It's supposed to be old school, back in the day when WCW was good, before Shitstain got there, also known as Vince Russo. But anyway, So Cody faces Sonny Kiss, no build-up, no idea why. The last time we saw... Oh, okay. So, Jay, I told you off screen that, and I did this on the show last week, Fyter Fest Week 2, Lance Archer faced everyone's favorite bad boy, Joey Janela, who looks like a freaking, I don't know, backwoods hippie on crystal meth that you'd find on a boardwalk. But anyway, so the last time we saw Sonny Kiss was either in the audience at Fyter Fest on night 1, and then night 2, Lance Archer shows up late to his entrance music, carrying Sonny Kiss on his back, and then tosses Sonny Kiss into the ring onto Joey Janela, and that was the last time I saw Sonny Kiss. That was the last. So now I'm supposed to believe in 1 week that Sonny Kiss is supposed to challenge for the second most prestigious title in AEW. That's what I'm supposed to believe.
No.
Does that make sense?
That'll make no sense.
Okay, Jay, your thoughts on that? If I told you that, which I just did, which is exactly how it happened. Right. What are okay? Yes or no? Are you gonna take Sonny Kiss seriously?
No, definitely not.
Because they haven't built him.
Definitely not.
They've done nothing to him.
I have to just say I have nothing to go on with him to take him seriously.
No. Well, let me give them some credit. You have something to go on. He's a worthless idiot who shouldn't be on the show because he's getting beat up by Lance Archer.
There you go.
But anyway, so Cody, who again tries to be his dad, tries to build people. They're going to turn Cody heel. That's the way Cody's wrestling right now.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
But here's the deal. And Jim Cornette said this on his review of this. But again, this is us all being honest. You watched Dusty's territory. You've watched Dusty Rhodes wrestle. You know Dusty was great. Here's the thing. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to repeat what Jim Cornette said so that more people can hear it. If Dusty was alive today and he was helping Cody run AEW, he wouldn't have put this match on television.
No, he wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have done it.
No.
I guarantee you there would have been no reason to do it. Sonny Kiss was not built to be a star yet. I'm not saying that Sonny Kiss, because he's a gay African-American wrestler, can't be a world champion. But I can't take it seriously in the way you've not built him because he's barely been on TV.
That's so true.
Again, Jay and I were talking about this before the show. Wrestling is about believability. I have to believe what's happening. You have to make me believe that something can happen because technically this is wrestling. It's live.
Yes.
If the champion, let's say, breaks his neck in the ring, you're live on TV. Unless you turn around and you just immediately call for the back, the match is still going. So theoretically, you've told the audience the belt is on the line. So if Cody got hurt, couldn't move, and Sonny Kiss got to a point where Sonny Kiss could talk to Cody and we couldn't see, there was no camera angle, Cody was going to say, pin me. Well, now Sonny Kiss is the champion. You have to write that into your TV show. So technically Sonny Kiss was in a match that you told me was for the title. So if something goes wrong, Sonny Kiss is now the champion. But they're running every show like everything's going to go perfect. Everything's going to go amazing and nothing bad can happen. Despite the fact they're spot monkeys and they do everything wrong.
Well, yes, that's true.
So anyway, it was 11 minutes. It was Cody being Cody. It was okay. But in my opinion, the way Cody has built himself, because nobody else writing this crap for him, the way Cody has built himself as a star, a mid-card star, because I don't know, whoever said Cody Rhodes was a top 10 wrestler, I don't know what that was, but anyway.
I haven't found him yet.
But Cody has built himself up to be a star. You got Arn Anderson, the backbone, the muscle of the Four Horsemen, probably the greatest overall decorated faction of all time.
That's some credibility right there.
And it takes him 11 minutes to put away Sonny Kiss. 11 minutes.
5-6 minute squash.
I would have given him 5 minutes. I would have said
at the most.
I would have said go do 5 minutes, do whatever the hell you want in 5 minutes. Cody's gonna win. So so Cody's still the AEW TNT champion. By the way, it's called a television title. He hasn't this is his first defense in 3 weeks. Don't understand what that's about. So whatever. But anyway, I honestly think they just invented this title to give to all those 75 guys that aren't on TV that no one's watching, and yet Cody's holding it.
Yeah.
No one's taking. Oh, by the way, has anyone forgot that Chris Jericho is no longer the AEW champion? So that means that Cody can now challenge for the AEW championship.
That is true.
2 weeks, Jay. 2 weeks into this show.
Yeah.
When this show first debuted on TNT,
Correct.
It wasn't even 2 weeks in, and Cody Rhodes was already in a feud with Jericho, and Jericho said, in our match at the next pay-per-view, if you lose, you can never have another AEW world title match as long as I'm the champion. So already, within 2 weeks, you've already, They hadn't even had a match yet, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can't be the world champion. Why? You're supposed to be the star. You're the American Nightmare. You left WWE. You went to Ring of Honor. You went to Japan. You were on Wrestle Kingdom, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. He won his...
But anyway...
He won the 10 pounds of gold.
Yes,
you know, his claim title that Flair has and his own father has held.
Made famous.
I mean...
And we're not talking... And we're not talking the NWA Regional World title. That was the NWA World title.
Yes.
You were the world's heavyweight champ. Did he actually win it?
Yes, he did.
He did win it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then...
That's nice.
And then Nick Aldis took it.
Nick Aldis took it, yeah. He beat him, and then I don't know how much longer. Then the next one he took it back.
He didn't have it long, but I think that's because Cody had so many bookings that NWA just couldn't use him, I guess.
Yeah. But it was good to get him on, you know, kind of nostalgia for his dad and stuff like that.
Anyway,
for him, so.
I'm only one match in out of 5. I'll go quickly. Okay, match number 2 is FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. FTR is supposed to be the best tag team in the world. We all know how good they are. We've watched them have great matches.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the deal.
Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to be in a feud with the Young Bucks. So
they're friends still, as far as we know.
No, hold on. I will get to that.
Oh,
hold on.
Oh, God.
So, Jay, let me set the scene for you here. And this will be my one for now. Cody Rhodes was on Being the Elite, the YouTube show for the Young Bucks at one point, and he uttered, "Fuck the Revival." And that became a hot trending topic. And then they said it every episode. And it was a joke. And it was Cody saying, the Bucks, I see them go out every night and they have this amazing match. And then the Revival, they sit in a performance center and they have months to prepare for a match. That's why I think the Bucks are better. So there's been this running rivalry between these two teams. Okay. That's been building for, Leroy, what is it now, like 2 years almost? 2-3 years that's been building?
I think something like that, yeah.
Okay, so
Jay.
The
Revival in WWE?
No. They've been going back and forth on Twitter. Everyone wants to see the Revival versus the Young Bucks.
Okay.
So
that would be nice.
Hold on. Then the Revival gets released from WWE. What is the dream scenario now? They're free agents. You sign them to AEW, they come in, and all of a sudden, AEW gets the dream.
They should be
right
off. Yeah. Okay.
But they didn't. They were friends. They were in an 8-man tag team match together. They weren't even in the company for a month. Oh, by the way, Leroy, hang on.
Jeez.
Remember when I said that the Lucha Brothers stole the custom antique truck from FTR?
Oh, yeah.
The Lucha Brothers still have it.
Oh,
they drove in it. So apparently, even Jim Ross made the joke. Jim Ross commentating this, he even made the joke. How have the police not gotten wind of this? Like, I mean, apparently everyone knows who has this truck, but the authorities of the Jacksonville area. Anyway.
Do we need a laugh track yet?
No.
Okay.
No, because
let me know.
You can turn it off. There's no laughing on this show.
Okay.
Today. But anyway, so FTR is supposed to be one of the best tag teams in the world.
Correct.
The problem is they know how to wrestle. They know how to tag team wrestle. They've dedicated themselves to old school tag team wrestling.
That's what I love about them. That's what I love about them.
But you put them in with the Lucha Brothers, who do quick, fast, no sell, everything they've ever done. During the 8-man tag team match, when the match first started, it was sort of FTR versus Lucha Brothers, okay?
Yes.
But Lucha Brothers slowed down. FTR was sort of working the match. They were calling everything. It wasn't bad. Then the Young Bucks came in and the whole thing became a tire fire. But anyway, Lucha Brothers are still not tagging out. The referee's got no control over everything. They're all on the outside beating each other up. The referee, it takes the referee 2.5 minutes to get the 5.
Was it the same guy that couldn't come before?
I don't even know who the referee was this time. Right. But it's just, I wasn't paying attention because here's the deal. Once again, wrestling, I need to be able to fathom what I'm seeing. Yes. But my eyeballs are going in 8 different directions. Also, the cameras, also, I swear to God, there's a dude in there on the freaking truck who just presses button, next camera. No one's telling him which camera to be on. He's just picking a camera. Because they just jump from camera angle to camera angle. I can't follow this shit.
Maybe they labeled the cameras wrong. They don't know how to count to 5. So they have 1, 7, and 2. I don't know.
No. They can count to 5. It just takes them 3.5 minutes to get there.
All right.
Anyway, I'm not going to go deep into this because I'm sorry, FTR. you should have shown up. You should have gone into business for yourself. You should have beat the piss out of every tag team and said, y'all don't belong in the ring with us. You should have done that from day one, because then they would have taken you seriously. But no, they went in. They were professional. They decided to be part of the guys. But now you're just another team in a company of people that nobody other than the people who were already going to watch it. So they've killed the greatest tag team in the world in less than a month. They've killed the momentum. Wow. They've killed they're dead. They are as dead as the flies behind me on Leroy's windowsill. They are dead to the earth right now.
They hold titles in the WWE. I can't remember.
They did, yeah.
They did?
Yeah, they both
NXT and the SmackDown ones, I think it was. Was it
and
the SmackDown?
They had both.
Did they had all three? Okay.
Yeah, they had all three.
But anyway. So, you're supposed to be the greatest tag team in the world, the Young Bucks. So, you want to do what? Revive tag team wrestling. We all know Vince doesn't like it. We get it. Vince only has it because he has to.
Yes.
But this is the shit you're giving me?
Well, you have the greatest... They're good at killing people.
You have the self-proclaimed best tag team in the world, the Young Bucks. You have the actual best team in the world in FTR. You have the best lucha tag team in the world.
Oh,
but
yes.
yet everything falls flatter than a freaking pancake. I don't get it. So no, moving on.
It's for the people that are running. That's the problem.
Let's get to the. Should we get to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Should we get to the Elite because they were on the show?
Do we need to talk about them?
They had a 6-man tag team match.
But do we still need to talk about them?
Yeah, sadly we do.
All right.
So the Elite faced off against the Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, who is actually the son of the famous actor, rest in peace, Luke Perry.
Oh,
it's actually his son.
I heard about Luke Perry out of his son wrestling.
Yep.
Oh,
sadly,
good.
He's a good Ricky Morton style babyface who actually sells things. The problem is he's with these jokers, so he's not being trained right.
Okay.
He's not being told, here's how you do it, kid. He could make a ton of money, but he's never going to learn anything because nobody's teaching in this company. Every single match is, I'm going to go to you and okay, what did you do when you were on the indie circuits? What's your top 15 moves? Okay, here's my top 20 moves. We're going to do 35 moves in one match, and no one's going to know who the good guy and the bad guy is. So here's the deal. The Elite, who are supposed to be the three of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
And which are they?
That's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Okay.
They're supposed to be the good guys, right?
Yep.
They're supposed to be loved by the fans. But the Jurassic Express are also loved by the fans. So there's no reason this match is happening. Nobody bumped into anyone else. They just decided to announce this match. It's like, hey, here's an amazing gymnastics team versus another amazing gymnastics team. There's no build. I get that you're sports-based, but here's the deal. This is also wrestling. You have to be able to tell a story.
Yes.
Look. The Vikings will face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the upcoming football season. Yes, Tom Brady is now a Buck. But that's just going to happen because that's how sports works. The schedule comes out and stories make themselves.
No doubt.
This is wrestling. You have to tell me the story.
Yes,
you have to give me the story. I can't write this shit on my own.
We could, and it would be a lot better.
If I did, I'd fire 80 of these guys and keep 6. Anyway,
that's about right.
You got a billionaire's money, and you're paying Orange friggin' Cassidy 6 figures. Figure that one out.
He likes orange juice.
I don't know. Anyway, so that match, Leroy, this match was another example of everyone's on the floor. Marco's stunt is in the ring. He gives a Canadian Destroyer over the top rope to one of the Bucks. Over the top rope into everybody, who once again, no one's fighting each other on the outside. They're all standing there, holding each other, waiting for the dude to fly over the ring. You can see these guys are all cooperating.
Yes, I hate
We all know that wrestling is a cooperation between the competitors.
No doubt.
But for the love of God, do you have to show me that on national television?
Did everybody tag and be in the ring
at
the same time?
No.
Oh, they didn't do that again this week?
Jay, by the way, I forgot to tell you. Remember that 8-man tag team match that I told you about?
Yes.
Apparently, Leroy and I learned last week, apparently this was a rule we didn't know in tag team wrestling. If you tag your partner in, and then he gets in the ring and then tags another partner, apparently they're both legal now.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they did.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's a real rule.
Wow. Okay.
I'm doing some intense research to get all the facts straight, so I know what I'm talking about when we start talking about this. But
so again, it's a bunch of kids doing gymnastics. Kenny Omega once again has proven that when he got to America, see, here's the deal. I will give Kenny Omega one bit of positive. He is a little too showy for me. Okay. Kenny Omega has to prance around the ring. He's got little happy feet. He has, you know, it's like Kenny Omega before he bounces off the ropes. He has to do the running man for like 4 or 5 takes. But here's the deal. He did that because when you're in Japan, you have to get over with a Japanese audience. So him having to be over flamboyant for an audience that normally doesn't react. We talked about how the audience kind of just, sits there and they do the Asian thing, which is they're very respectful of the competitors.
Yes.
But Kenny still does that in America. A crowd that's actually going to react to you, you still do the abundance of things.
Yes.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Just
bounce
off the rope, jump over the top, and I don't need you to finger bang 4 times while you do it. Anyway, so that was a bunch of BS. The Elite came out on top, even though once again it was a bunch of flippy-dippy bullshit that nobody could follow, nobody cared about. Now hold on a sec. This is supposedly your 3 vice presidents. This is supposedly 3 of the greatest in the world. They went on before Brandy Rhodes and Allie, now known as the Nightmare Sisters, because Brandy can't give up this crap of trying to be on television. They faced 2 local talents in a women's tag team match. I'm now supposed to take Allie seriously. She's no longer with the Butcher and the Blade. Nobody knows why. They just one day showed up without her, and boom, it was just assumed she was never there anymore. Wow. So... See, for those
this is why I watch normal wrestling.
For those of you out there who wonder why Leroy doesn't say much during these, it's not that Leroy doesn't want to watch this to be prepared for the show. It's that Leroy doesn't get the chance to see it. By the time we do the show, it's all on YouTube, but he doesn't get the chance because he's got a lot of other stuff going on. But he's not laughing because he's told to. He's laughing because he doesn't understand why wrestling has all of a sudden become funny, goofy, silly, and a sideshow. Wrestling started in carnivals, in traveling circuses. But it didn't need to still be a clown show.
No. It's okay for some moments and stuff, but not a whole
Leroy,
pay-per-view.
So anyway,
oh boy,
Brandy
what's next?
Rhodes,
Brandy Rhodes. Okay,
right. So Brandy's taking, what is this, her 5th attempt at trying to be on the show? Her 17th attempt to be on the show?
What do you think of her skills?
I've lost count.
In the ring. So she's wrestling.
She ain't good. I can tell you that much. She ain't good.
She's a Rhodes.
But anyway,
just through marriage, that's it.
That's
marriage.
Other than that, it doesn't count.
But anyway, Leroy, do you want to know how long this bullshit was?
Was it 11 minutes?
2 minutes.
Oh my God!
2 minutes for a tag team match?
They don't like women, so they just put on for 2 minutes.
Kenny Omega books the tag team, books the women's division match. It's the most god awful division. It has hurt every woman in this division. It hasn't been good. I can't say that I've enjoyed the women's tag or anything involving the women's division, but they are known as All Elite. They want to be inclusive. They want to have everyone have fun and live their dream. So they decided to have a women's division when you didn't need it. It didn't make... And by the way, screw Kenny Omega being the guy that booked this, because Kenny Omega, you came from New Japan. There is no women's division in New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's Stardom, who does their own shit on the side. You don't know how to book a female division.
He doesn't know how to do anything.
But anyway, so now we get to the main event. Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage. I'm skipping over the majority of it because it's a typical Jon Moxley match. He comes in through the crowd. They're in the ring for 2 minutes. They're rolling on the floor. The referee can't count again. For some reason, we forgot how to count. He gets to 5, and I'm like, we've been on... But Jon Moxley is apparently someone who spent a good chunk of time in WWE, was trained by the people up there, had the ability to learn from Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, he definitely did.
But he wrestles like he's never learned a thing in his life.
That's crazy.
Hold on a sec. We all know who Brian Cage is, the Machine.
Yes.
Jon Moxley is out intensifying Brian Cage. What are we doing?
Yeah.
He's 150 pounds lighter, and he's like 6 inches shorter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But the
Something like that.
But the thing about it is that Jon Moxley doesn't... And by the way, Jon Moxley's supposed to be the babyface champion, right? But Jon Moxley is coming in, he's flipping the bird to people, he's acting like a heel, even though he's the good guy.
Yeah.
But it's just... If this is why he left WWE, because Vince wouldn't let him do his own shtick, if this is the shtick he was trying to do, I'm glad Vince said no.
Yes, indeed.
I'm glad Vince looked at him and said, why are we doing this? I don't have time for this.
I thought the Lunatic Friends was a alright thing going on for him.
Anyway,
Roddy Piper.
So, Jon Moxley, Leroy.
Yes.
This match ends. I'm just going to jump to the end because that's where it gets stupid. They've built Brian Cage for less than a month now. He's undefeated in AEW. Taz gave him the FTW championship because Moxley couldn't perform.
Yes.
So now he's the F the World champion, right? Yeah. So this guy's supposed to be a badass, right? He's got Taz in his corner, all that good stuff. He gets beat by a submission to his surgically repaired arm that, by the way, go back and watch this if you can.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley holds that in for an uncomfortably amount of long time.
Oh, wow.
As in, he held it in so long that in real life your arm would have already snapped by now, once again you're literally winking at the camera and saying, "Oh, this is all fake" because he's not really hurt.
Yes.
But I'm not joking. He might have been in this for almost 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh wow!
And nothing happened.
Oh god, that's a really long time.
And nothing happened. The match is still going. So then, Leroy, hold on, Leroy. I'm gonna need you to look at me when I say this.
Okay, all right. So, sorry, I was looking up stuff.
No, it's fine. We've built this guy, right?
Yeah.
We've built him into this big, tough guy. Taz throws in the towel. That's how your World Championship match ends. Now, Jay and I were discussing earlier.
Wow.
If you were in a situation with a big guy like Cage, you built him to be this powerhouse that no one can stop. If you don't want to give him the belt right away, there's about 40 different good ways to end this match so that he doesn't look weak. But he threw in the towel. Hang on, Leroy. Then he gets up. He's not selling the arm, by the way. He's not. He gets up. He's perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong.
After 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then the lights go out. The lights go out. The music hits. Darby Allin's back from wherever he was. Darby Allin jumps off the top rope, hits Cage in the throat with his skateboard. So now Darby Allin, all of 186 pounds, makes Brian Cage look like a freaking wimp. So now you've killed Brian. Now, okay, Brian Cage is a little bit green to me. I think I don't think he really knows how to be a big guy. He knows how to do flippy shit over in Lucha Underground. But so now you buried him. Now he's useless.
Yeah.
You've killed this guy. You built him up for a month, and now he's nothing. He's supposed to be the F the World champion, and he got beat up by a guy who's 186 pounds soaking wet.
Darby, yeah. I should look that up.
I don't know. I just. Jay, this is the quote-unquote alternative to WWE. This is what they've told me is supposed to be the new breed of pro wrestling. If this is where pro wrestling is going, I'll stick to my Mid-South tapes that I actually have that Tony Khan doesn't.
Okay.
That he need to go back.
Here, you're talking about, okay, you're done. Here, I'll give you some stats on all these boys here.
Would you please?
All right. Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
They have him billed on Wikipedia. I looked on Wikipedia. 6'4", 234.
Okay.
Brian Cage, 6 foot. I thought he was a little bit taller than that.
Okay, so really interesting story. So you know our buddy Super Beast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a picture of him next to Brian Cage.
Yeah.
He's taller than Brian Cage.
Really?
He is.
Oh.
Brian Cage is actually a lot shorter than people think.
Okay.
But Brian Cage is still a beast. He still looks like a machine.
He's built at 278 for weight.
Okay.
I mean, big boy.
Ooh.
Darby.
Yeah.
Little old Darby.
Yeah.
He's 5'8".
Yeah.
You were right on his weight. He's $180.
He's $180?
Yeah, 180.
Oh my god.
If he's like soaking wet, he might be $190.
I want to point something out.
I weigh more than him.
Brian Cage, I don't know why you didn't go to WWE, because Vince would take one look at you and say, I'm going to give you a shit ton of money to sit there and learn how to be a big guy. Because I don't know where he thinks Vince wouldn't have liked him.
Yeah. Because
here's the deal. Just like The Undertaker, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. The Undertaker and... Now, okay, so Luchasaurus, who's also in this, from Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
He's like 6'5", 6'7", huge 7-foot type guy. But see, Luchasaurus does lucha at 7 feet tall. I'm okay with it, but here's the problem. If you want to build a legit badass, have him do big man things like the Big Show, but then do what they did with Undertaker, because remember, Undertaker would have a really slow match, everything would be methodical, and then he'd jump off the rope, do the flying thing, and it's like, oh, he can do this. But the problem is that no one is teaching these guys how to do big man style wrestling. Everything is flippy. Everything is fast. You're giants. Make it look like you're giants.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, so I want to get to something that's fun, something that's amazing. I want to get to some good stuff. We've done the shit stain in the middle of our show. So, Leroy, we are going to talk a little bit about today because I am done with this crap. Anything on Luchasaurus you can look up at this point?
Well, I was trying to figure out how to spell his
before
name.
We leave,
so Luchasaurus is...
before we leave this island of misfit
How
toys,
the heck do you spell that name?
Luchasaurus.
Just type in Lucha and then go S-A-U and then it should just go Luchasaurus. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I've got it right.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I got him.
Yeah, Luchasaurus is... What is this? Well, first of all, he's 35. He's 6'5", 275. But you put him in the ring with Marco Stunt, he looks like he's 7 feet tall. And
you know what? They get a picture him without his mask and then with his mask.
He was on Big Brother.
He was on Big Brother?
That's where everyone kind of got him before he got to Lucha Underground was...
I like him with his mask.
He was a competitor. He was also known as...
There you go. That's with his mask and without. I like him with the mask better.
Okay, I know him.
Okay. The reason why you might know him is he was known as Judas Devlin in NXT for a short time.
That's where I know him from. That is it. Yep.
So,
and he was trained by Bill DeMott.
Yeah.
Very good trainer.
Yeah.
Very good trainer.
Back when Bill
Hugh
was
Morris.
still... Yeah.
Hugh Morris, back in the day.
Anyway, so...
All right.
I am sitting here. I am angry because I had to once again sit through this crap. For those of you who are like, oh, you didn't review it well, you didn't actually watch, I wasn't going to sit there and give a 20-minute lecture on how you should do this crap.
Was Allison watching it with you? So
No. Allison watched Fyter Fest, but she didn't want to watch this, and I don't blame her.
Okay, yeah.
She's not required to like I am. But
we're not requiring you to, but you choose to.
Anyway, can I just say this?
Sure.
You guys, and again, I will give my full review very soon. You guys told me that you were going to be an alternative. But you're not the alternative. You're just another version of what WWE was doing that made fans angry anyway. And by the way, your stupid ratings that you say you keep winning the demo of, you haven't raised your ratings since you debuted this show. Their first show, Jay, had over 1 million viewers. They haven't gotten over 900,000 since their first show.
Oh, wow.
So they've treaded water around about 750.
That the excitement that will build up around them in the beginning.
Yeah. But here's the deal. You've lost over 300,000 people, and you haven't gained them back. NXT's actually grown the ratings from when they first debuted on television.
Storyline.
But the thing about it is that this goes back to what Jim Cornette has said 1,000 times. Okay, when they used to when they had the Monday Night Wars, everybody checked the ratings for 83 straight weeks, right? 83 straight weeks was how long WCW won the ratings. But Jim Cornette never cared about that because what he said was, the better show will always win out.
That is true.
And if you are telling me this is the better show, I go back to what people keep telling me on Facebook. You don't understand the psychology. I don't want to understand the psychology of for some reason every single night, even though I'm on every single Wednesday, I have to give you everything I've ever done in my 20-year career in one night, even though guess what? Next week, I'm on TV again. Hi, I'm still here.
If people think they're going to win, then I have to make one comment about that, a nice little quote. Drugs are good, okay? Because that's about you got to be on that to actually like that crowd.
This is painful. But
yes. All right. Let's go to...
For not just the fans, but for Jay and Mark and Tim and Willie, and for your entertainment, I will continue to watch what I can only call is showing America that here's the deal. If you turn on TNT on a Wednesday night between 7 and 9, and this is your idea of wrestling, you've never been a wrestling fan before, you are never going to get into wrestling.
You are not.
Because this is a joke. They are literally, like I said, they're finger pointing, they're winking at the camera, they're letting you know it's a joke. They're okay. Jay, here's my best example. These are the guys who, and this proves that they're marks.
Correct. These
are the guys that if they get on an internet show for YouTube vids, if they get YouTube views off of a joke segment, they're happy. They enjoy it.
Oh wow! Okay.
Even though they look like what Saturday Night Live would do if they were trying to make a funny wrestling skit, if Saturday Night Live ever picks up this AEW bullshit and they do a funny segment, the guys
it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. The guys in AEW are going to look at that, laugh, and say, we made it on Saturday Night Live, whereas Vince would be like, you're ruining my program.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. These guys don't care that they're embarrassments to the wrestling business. They enjoy the bullshit they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Leroy, please lead us into the best topic ever so that I can.
Well, we are gonna honor one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. One of the greatest.
I wouldn't say Mount Rushmore, but I would definitely put him up there.
Well, if you're talking about,
no. My Mount Rushmore type guys are Rock, Hogan, Flair, and then I like.
Why Hogan?
You can't deny what he did for the wrestling business.
That is okay. No doubt.
But if we're talking about gimmicks and everything and persona, the Undertaker has the greatest one ever created.
Here is my Here is my quick off the cusp Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. Antonio Inoki from New Japan, because he pioneered what is Japanese wrestling to America. Hulk Hogan, whether you like Hulk or not, whether he got stale or not, you can't deny what he did in the 80s. The Rock, because I don't think you're ever going to find someone who was not only looked like him, but could also talk like him and could wrestle like him.
That's correct.
Am I at 3 or 4?
That's 3.
That's 3?
That's 3.
Okay, so that's 3. And then, so I've got Rock, Hogan. Oh, sorry, Ric Flair, only because Ric Flair's the GOAT. Ooh. Only because he's the GOAT. Anyway. So
we're not going to throw Austin on that at all?
I would say Austin was equal with Rock, but Rock's...
I felt the same way with that one, with the Rock.
But I still give Rock the edge.
Because during that Attitude Era, Austin had the same... he got that look.
It wasn't even the fact that they were almost equal in look. The Rock pioneered just being the guy who didn't care. The Rock could either be...
I agree.
The Rock could either be corporate Rock... Or he could just be Dwayne, and he's still the same guy.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So I give Rock, the jump. When we do an actual Mount Rushmore, like
we will have to do a Mount Rushmore
anyway, so
show.
Leroy, sorry.
All right, we're talking about Mr. Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, as everybody knows him. Yes. His illustrious 33 career.
33 years.
33 years, and not not the Undertaker the whole time. I mean, he was different names he used.
Well, hold on a sec. I think that because remember, what was Stone Cold's original gimmick? Something.
Crap! And I know it too.
The Ringmaster.
The Ringmaster. Yes.
So,
but $1 Million Man.
But here's the thing: no one really. Funny story. $1 Million Man also debuted Taker. So Ted DiBiase is kind of on screen at the root of some of the greatest things ever. But I still say, even though he had all those names beforehand, people really just know him as Taker.
Oh yeah.
They don't really ever associate anything with him but Undertaker. No matter what he did early on.
No. The only thing that they would probably associate is Mean Mark. I mean, that was a big.
That's what with Paul Heyman, correct?
Yeah, that was an old
WCW.
Paul Heyman day.
WCW and WCCW. He did a stint in there too. So,
but I mean, right off the bat, we're gonna end the show with all three of us kind of giving a wrap up of this. But Willie said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. Easily the greatest character the business has ever had. Any company, anywhere, character. Best ever.
Yes.
No question. And I think it had to be because he took it so seriously. He never did autograph signings for like.
The other guys in the locker
years.
room didn't want to play that kind of character back during those times too.
But Jay, here's the thing: if you give that character to 99 other guys,
only Mark can do it. I can't see nobody else doing it but him.
Well, it's certain people can play certain characters and other ones can't.
No.
Yes.
And it was the right time and the right moment for him to get into that.
And I'm going to say this right off the bat. I don't think anyone's ever sat down and said to an audience, he was not only part of the 80s, late 80s, but he was a part of 91 late 80s.
Correct.
87.
But he is a golden era character.
Yes.
He is an attitude era character.
Yes.
He's a ruthless aggression era character.
Yes.
He's a PG era character, and now he's whatever they are now. We'll figure it out in 10 years.
He's a pandemic character.
There we go. I like that. But it's just, I don't think people actually realize how many eras he's been through.
Oh God!
Again, the 80s.
You can see his appearances changing.
Oh
the years.
Yeah.
So many different ones.
And then there's that weird appearance that he had in between Taker, the actual dead man, and then the badass. It was a weird.
Yeah.
It was the Ministry guy.
Yeah, the Ministry guy. Yes. Is that what the little the dot on it?
Yeah,
the little teardrop.
Nothing against the Ministry Taker, but I kind of like to write that off and
Me too. I'm with you on that one. That's what the whole.
Anyway, so Mark Calloway
thing.
began wrestling as the Undertaker at Survivor Series. We all know 1991. He was introduced as the $1 Million Man's mystery partner.
But his career started before that,
right?
By like 85 or something,
right?
Correct.
Right. But let's stick to just like. But let's stick to the Undertaker.
Okay.
So really, the day the world was introduced to this guy was at Survivor Series.
Gotcha.
Showed up with Bruce Pritchard, by the way.
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard walked him out.
Yes.
And then went on to have, I don't know, the greatest wrestling career ever you could think of in terms of the fact that, Ric Flair never had to sacrifice his life to be a character because he just was the character. What I learned from The Last Ride was, have you seen The Last Ride, by the way?
I did not see The Last Ride.
Okay, all right. If you ever get a chance, it's a wonderful, amazing documentary that was supposed to be the end of The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 against Roman Reigns.
I think that's what I think they were trying to do it then, but it just didn't work
out.
Well,
no. Okay, so they never really said it, but WrestleMania 33. I think Roman Reigns was supposed to be. Roman Reigns was supposed to be the end because that's when he put the hat down. That's when he put the gloves in the middle. But Jay, it's interesting because you go watch episode 1. Taker's in recovery because he got his second hip replaced after the match.
Yeah.
He's in recovery. He's watching the match. He hated it. He spat on it.
For the Roman Reigns match?
Yes, he felt so bad. Leroy, you watched him sitting there with Michelle McCool, his wife. He felt so bad about that match.
Oh, he did, yeah.
He hated himself for it. God. So, I guess it was, I don't know, Leroy, would you call this documentary looking for the end, trying to find that final opponent?
I think so, because he, as he said, he wanted to go out on top and be happy with what he did for his last match.
Because he had 2 more opponents after Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yes. We had 2 more WrestleMania opponents.
He just couldn't find that right one until this last year.
The problem is when you become a character like that, you kind of, and again, he's an old school guy. If you can walk to the ring, you better go out there and deliver 20 minutes. It don't matter if you're hurt.
Yeah.
If you can walk to the ring, deliver 20 minutes. I just think that he needed to, because he's so old school and because he believes in the business, he believes in kayfabe, he believes in all the guys that came before him. Not that the guys now don't, but just because of the era he came from. And you think about all the guys who have passed. Think about the amount of funerals Taker's been to. Think about the funerals that Mark Calloway has had to attend.
Yes.
So many guys from Piper to Yokozuna to Dusty Rhodes. All these guys that he was in the business with.
Yeah.
And he was the last one.
That's so
but I think it just comes down to one of those scenarios where I think he said himself, I'm going to go out with a match befitting the Undertaker. He didn't say Mark Calloway. He didn't say Michelle McCool. He didn't care about his family. He cared about the character
of the Undertaker
because it had consumed so much of his life.
And he cared about the fans.
Yes.
That was a big thing. Is like, if I can't do this for the fans aren't happy, I'm not happy, and I love that.
The line that makes me cry is the line that he said, I don't want my last match to be, I'm done, the match is over, and then I walked past a little kid who said that was great, and then his dad turns to him and says, well, you should have seen him 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He said, he said, I refuse to let that be my legacy. And it brings a tear to my eye because I look at this and maybe it's nostalgia more than actual career because, Gene said it in the lounge, Taker really wasn't what we think The Undertaker is till probably WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
That's when I think he really became the phenom. Not that the character hadn't been long lasting and been a main event guy from day one.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the gunslinger that we all think of really, in my opinion, appeared until he came back against Kane at WrestleMania 20.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say he had stinkers of matches, but he didn't have great matches. But after WrestleMania 20, I think he finally became the consistent phenom, the best pure striker, all those things. And going back to that line, best pure striker, going back to what he believed over what the Bucks believed in Spot Monkey.
Yep.
You make it look real. When Taker threw that punch, you damn sure better sell it. Otherwise, he's going to take you and he's going to old school you right outside the ring.
Do we have fun listening to some of his acclimates that he's had over the years?
Well, we'll get to that. But here's what I want to do. Leroy, so when that first happened, what was your first impression the first day you saw him?
Taker?
At that pay-per-view, at Survivor Series, what were your thought process? Because remember the famous line, "Look at the size of that ham hock."
Yes.
Famous line there.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And do you remember who said that now? I told you a few times.
Yeah, no, you have. Who was it again?
That was Piper.
That was Piper, yeah. No, yeah.
Because that's what he's...
That was Piper?
Yeah, Roddy Piper. Yeah, he was doing
commentator doing that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I heard that 1,000 times.
Yep.
But I never thought of Piper in my head.
Once you say Piper, now that I think back to it, I'm like...
I'm hearing it now.
Yeah, no. How do you not get that?
Yeah.
I mean, just...
But anyway, so, okay, Leroy, go ahead.
Well, I thought, he'd come on. I was like, this is very interesting. It's not... It's kind of a different character than I'm used to.
It was also back in an era where the curtain still hadn't been pulled over our eyes. We still believed things. You believed this dude was an Undertaker.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I totally believe
just the way he coming in, the darkness of him.
Yeah.
I thought the character, he was a good character. I enjoyed it. Wasn't too keen on his manager at that time. Pritchard, came out,
but to be fair,
a lot different than what
can you name anyone in the history of the business who had ever tried something like this before they did it? No. I don't blame them for fumbling at the beginning because who the hell do you give a dude who's supposed to come out not only the size of this guy, but all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're gonna give them because again, wrestling got remember wrestling got very gimmicky and that's why Vince lost for so long was because they had the goon, the trash man, the junk jar, whatever it was.
Correct.
It got gimmicky. It got too charactery. But this was in an era where you could. But again, I don't think anyone had ever tried a dead man.
No.
But people, like you said, you believed he was a zombie.
Yeah, definitely. The eye rolling came and played doing one of the matches.
Yes.
Which, by the way, was an accident.
Yes.
They didn't even...
No.
Well, it wasn't planned. Go ahead. He worked with Percy before he came to WWE. So I think they probably looked back and saw that, and he told them, hey, it works. Yeah. So he came up, which having him with Paul Bearer, I mean, that
could be anybody more perfect than Paul.
Okay, so Leroy, we got you, Jay. Wow. Take yourself back to the moment.
Definitely.
Survivor Series.
Yep.
Take yourself back about 4 seconds before the organ goes on, before the music hits.
Oh yeah.
Ted DiBiase's in the middle of the ring. It's the old classic look, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, for sure.
He's wearing the suit. He announces from Death Valley. Where was your mind at the moment you heard Death Valley, and so forth?
See, at that point, you don't know what to expect. All you hear is Hogan, Venice Beach, California. You hear all these nice places.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, nice about a place from the dead somewhere. So. And then Undertaker come out, I was a little kid at that point.
Well, they had done Parts Unknown, I think, once or twice.
Yeah, they did Parts Unknown.
They have used that, yeah.
But they did that more with the Samoans, am I correct?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it was it. But again, that's something that people can kind of look at and they can put their own spin on. You go straight to Death Valley.
Yes.
You ain't got nowhere to go with that except
I don't think I've even heard of Death Valley at that time.
Really? Okay, so that was kind of where we were introduced to Death Valley. Okay.
So you just all you hear is death.
Yeah.
And I knew what Death Valley was.
Oh, okay.
When I heard that, I was like, whoa.
Wow. See, I had never heard of a Death Valley ever.
It's a valley. It's desolate. There's nothing there at all.
It's about 120 degrees average every freaking day.
Something like that, yeah.
It's basically an area between LA and Las Vegas.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so now he walks out. What are you seeing?
Oh God, I see a big, huge, tall guy.
Okay.
Scary looking with a funeral outfit on and the glove, the iconic glove and the hat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's what sticks out, the hat and the glove to me a lot.
Now, what were you guys thinking? Because I know what my thoughts were. But what were you guys thinking the first time he popped off the rope and he hit that flying? Because I guarantee you probably were thrown back in your seat like.
I never seen a big guy move like that.
Where does a 6'10" guy move like that?
I never seen a big guy move like that before.
Yeah,
so
it's the first time anybody's done anything like that. It's just like, damn.
Well, this goes back to my whole point about a lot of big men that are being trained on the indies versus being trained in WWE. the giving glimpses of athleticism is fine.
Correct.
But being a luchador at 7 feet tall
and to move like
constantly is not okay.
No.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Because when you think luchador, you think Rey Mysterio. But when you think big men, you can look to Kane, you can look to Show, Taker, all those guys. That's your perception. You can try to change the big man persona. It ain't gonna happen. Sorry, it's not. But okay, so he bounces off the rope. He does that Tombstone Pile Driver. Different version. Hadn't really seen it before. What did that do to you guys?
That was
just to have that be the finisher.
That was great. That so went with him. It's like boom, boom. He puts you down, cross your arm, you're done. Name
one thing that ever didn't make sense with the Undertaker gimmick. Because think about it.
That didn't make sense?
Okay, so hold on. Let me explain what I'm saying. Characters have moves that are called things.
Yes.
They have certain things. Manager. Okay, so his manager is Paul Bearer, who looks like Death.
Yes.
His brother is Kane. Cain and Abel.
Yep.
He burned him as a child.
Yep.
Their parents were estranged. They're half brothers.
Correct.
He had the Tombstone Pile Driver when he was the badass and he rode the motorcycle. It was called The Last Ride.
Yep.
Did anything they did with his character? He had the Ministry. He had the cross, the symbol. Did anything ever not make sense?
No, with his character, no, I can't find a flaw.
He worked. It worked well.
It was so perfect.
I can't find a flaw with his character.
I mean, I hate looking for perfection. I really do, but I can't find anything wrong with how they wrote it. Whether it ever came off perfect is irrelevant. The way the character was always written, I couldn't find a flaw. I couldn't. From the early videos where he's like making the coffins to Paul Bearer controlling him with the urn, it all made sense.
Yep.
And you don't get that in wrestling anymore. Nobody, but again, I'll be fair to Mark. Nobody believes in a gimmick that much. Everybody wants their own unique turn on it, so they change it within 2 weeks. He stayed that way from 1991 until he rode the motorcycle outside of that Boneyard match in 2020. So you think about that time, 20 years as just 30 years as just being the Undertaker.
Do you remember the funeral parlor?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Jake the Snake.
Yep.
And all that. Yeah.
Well, I think he did change a little bit, but it wasn't dramatic. It was subtle.
Well, but you have
things
to evolve.
that developed, and he did. He evolved with it, and it worked. I mean, he did everything great.
Because really, when you think about it, in a box, best example here. Once Triple H became the Game, he hasn't really become a completely different character, but there's different variations.
Yes.
There's the DX one, there's the Evolution one, there's the Authority one, there's the Attitude one where he was kind of in between DX and Evolution where he just had the big leather jacket. So there's levels to characters. You have the Undertaker. You have the Ministry, which then got old because everything was going more Stone Cold version.
Yep.
Then you had the pure moment where, oh my God, it's the same guy. He's still called the Undertaker, but now he's on a motorcycle, and it worked. The pop was huge.
American Badass.
And then he turned back into it wasn't the early '90s Undertaker, but it was Undertaker.
He went and got a haircut.
Okay. So all right. So here. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. It was Taker, Ministry, Badass, Phenom.
Correct. You're correct.
And then that kind of went into what he became at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Wikipedia, the way they have it down is in the Deadman era.
Okay.
That was 94, 96. Lord of Darkness came afterwards.
Ministry,
that's what they call it. No, Lord of Darkness was before.
Okay.
Then it was Ministry of Darkness.
I kind of saw those as like similar characters. Even though Ministry was something he did after Lord of Darkness.
That only went for a year. The Lord of Darkness was from 96, 98, and then 98, 99.
But that was the same variation of the character.
Is that with the APA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not, in your opinion, Jay, the same version of Undertaker, just with a different style?
It seems the same to me.
Okay, yeah, all right.
But yeah, then after Ministry was an American Badass. Yeah. Then right after that, Big Evil was still similar, but whatever.
Big Evil, yeah.
And then after that was the Return of the Dead Man in 2004, where he came back.
But
and
that's
it was
way version.
Yes, and that he was like that for the rest of his years that he was.
I call that the gunslinger. I call that the Old West guy that like, because like here's the deal. Whenever I see an old Western and the old guy comes into town with the chaps and the long trench coat, I think of Undertaker. I just do. Like
that, and I think of Clint Eastwood.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. But anyway, I mean, when you think about all those variations, you also have to think though, from the beginning to the end, what was the one constant? And I'm not just talking about Mark.
Okay.
The one constant was how protected the character was off camera.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Taker kept kayfabe alive until probably 2009. That's when I think Taker became one of the boys.
Exactly.
But I think the reason why he's always been a step above is because you didn't see him leave the hotel.
Nope.
You didn't see him arrive. He wasn't with his family.
No.
He wasn't at autograph signings.
No.
He wasn't sitting there.
No.
Well, okay, the American Badass, I think he did a few more signings, but that's a more approachable people character. But when he got back to Big Evil, when he got back to the Phenom, the Gunslinger, the Dead Man, it went back to, Taker's in the building.
Exactly.
But you ain't gonna see him high-fiving the fans outside.
No.
He's brought in, and from the moment he's brought in, he's rushed to a locker room. No one sees him until it's time for him to go out there. And then when he's done, he's not backstage hooping and hollering with the boys. He's back in the locker. Well, he could have been, but for the most part, he was back in the locker room, keeping himself away from camp. Because think about it, how many documentaries?
He have a crew of wrestlers with him. The Bone Street crew. Yeah. BSK.
But that's the thing. It's like how many documentaries?
Tattoo.
Yes.
Yeah. How many documentaries did they do and you never saw him? Whether they edited that out or not, you never saw him.
I didn't.
No.
He was gone from camera view.
Well, in the documentaries that the last ride,
it was the first time that he allowed himself.
Well, he allowed himself, but most of all he seen him was he went through Gorilla and he came back through it. Mm-hmm. And say hi to Vince and this and that, whatever, and did that, and then boom, he was in the locker room and he was getting his gear off and getting everything he needed to after the matches.
And it's like I go back to, I'm looking right now, ladies and gentlemen, at the streak, which is right in front of us. Okay, now I said earlier, I would say WrestleMania 20 is when he hit his stride as being, he's going to have match of the night quality. Okay. But you can't deny the list of dudes he's got wins over. Whether or not, because Leroy, does.
Are we gonna dive into that right now or no?
No, hold on.
All right.
Okay, so Leroy does very few things right on this show, but like one of the things he does do very well is when he prints out our timesheets, he has everything labeled like matches, but he also gets the match time in there too.
I see.
But I'm looking here, they didn't really give him a lot of time until really Psycho Sid. He didn't have a lot of time on the WrestleMania card until about Psycho Sid.
No, he did not.
But you can't deny that you got to win over Snuka, Roberts. We can forget Giant Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy, Diesel, Sid, Kane, Big Boss Man, Triple H, Flair. He's got wins over guys that casual people know.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not the matches were the quality that we look back upon them as or not, the list is just impressive.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
And he didn't even know about the streak until after he beat Rick.
Nobody was really talking about it.
Somebody brought it to his attention after Rick, like, you're 10-0 at WrestleMania. He was like, oh shit, I am. All right, yeah. He didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, truth be told though, he's been on almost every WrestleMania since WrestleMania 7. I mean,
he's been on a lot of. Well, he's missed a couple here and there.
Well, he's missed a couple here and there, but I mean, even before the streak, you knew Taker was doing something at Mania.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yes.
And I mean, Jay, did it ever feel like Mania season until you knew Taker was on the card?
No, I always expected him to be there, no matter what. It wasn't WrestleMania. That's on the card to me.
So the road to WrestleMania didn't start for you at the Royal Rumble. It started when Taker had his match announced.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And I'm always excited to see who's gonna bid to try to be on that card with him.
Now
they fighting for.
I actually recently read an article about 5 guys who were supposed to beat the streak.
Oh, okay.
And how most of them didn't want to do it.
Oh, wow.
Because
what are your feelings on the streak being beat?
We'll get to that in a second because I think I've covered that on the show, but I want to get your reaction in a second here when we get to that. But anyway, I mean, okay, so we're not going to go match by match, but let's just we'll go match by match quickly, but we're not going to analyze each match. But okay, so WrestleMania 7 was his first WrestleMania, at that point, I think he was still undefeated because he was undefeated for like 2 years. I think it was in WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, but in WWE. Wasn't Taker like unbeaten for like 2 years or something?
I think something like that.
Yeah, when he first got there.
Yeah.
Snuka. Do I need to say anymore? It's the Superfly. Like it's just Jake the Snake Roberts. Why am I asking you again? Do I need to say who I? No. Giant Gonzalez was a weird angle. I still don't know what they were thinking, but okay, it happened. It was just odd. King Kong Bundy. I love King Kong Bundy.
Legend.
You know, one of those classic guys. Diesel was Diesel when he finally got the belt. Was that his first title belt, or his first world title was against Diesel? Or
no. It just there's listen on the very end. That's where he won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he had a match with Diesel, who at the time was Diesel. He wasn't Kevin Nash. He wasn't this old broken down version of Kevin.
No.
He was Diesel.
He was a big guy.
Yeah, it made sense. Psycho Sid. Oh, okay, so Psycho Sid was the first world
That's
title.
where it was his first WWE.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
WWF championship.
Then it was Kane, back in the early edition of Kane. Big Boss Man, to this day, still scares the shit out of me when I see Boss Man just hanging from the rafters.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Again, the imagery of the Undertaker is iconic. You never forget it. It just sticks in your mind. Then he went up against Triple H. He had the match with Flair, which was one of those sort of dream come true things. I would have liked to have seen a 33-year-old Undertaker versus maybe like a 28-year-old Ric Flair, but obviously we can't.
Yeah,
it
didn't work out that way.
Then it was A-Train versus Big Show, which remember was supposed to be a tag team match, but Zach Gowen was taken out earlier.
No, it wasn't Zach Gowen.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't Zach Gowen. It was that dude from Australia.
No.
No.
Wasn't it? No.
The one that was in prison guy, whatever his name's supposed to be.
You can look that up because I remember.
You're correct.
I remember watching because that's when he was the badass, and Limp Bizkit performed his song live, and he came down with and I can't remember who it was.
I love how even you say Limp Bizkit is one guy. It was a band.
Well, Limp Bizkit. Okay,
sorry.
Limp Bizkit.
Fred Durst is not just known as Limp Bizkit.
Well,
it's Fred Durst with Limp Bizkit.
Well, I wouldn't want to be known as Limp Bizkit. That wouldn't be very
good. Actually, hold on. Crazy story, Jay.
Yes.
So that performance, there was another famous guitarist that was actually on that performance. It was Brian Head Welch from Korn.
Oh, wow.
He performed live with Limp Bizkit for that show.
Oh, wow.
So Brian Head Welch has actually performed at WrestleMania with Limp Bizkit.
Yes, but no, I remember before that I was watching it, and his partner got took out, and then we can beat the Undertaker because there's two of us, A-Train and Big Show. They're both big guys.
That's when he first put up the fingers of how many matches in a row he had won.
I believe so.
Or was that Rick? That might have been Rick.
I don't know if it was that one or it would have been this one. I think it might have been this one. But yeah, it was 2-on-1 handicap. It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a tag team.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was some guy from Australia that did not work
the Russian guy from prison.
Oh no, it was Nathan Lane.
Nathan. Yeah, that was his name.
It was Nathan something.
So hold on a second.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy in a ladder match.
No, not that one.
Here we go. Okay. It was Nathan Jones, yeah.
It was Nathan something.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
It was it was Nathan Jones.
My memory is coming back sometimes. You know, it's good.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
especially about Taker.
So then after that, well, he's done so much, can't remember any of it. So after that, we move into this is my moment when I believe Taker hit peak Taker. This is for me the moment, and it's still my favorite entrance of all time.
Well,
was WrestleMania?
Look at the venue.
Yeah, WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden against Kane. Kane sold it so well. I still can't believe it was only 7 minutes 45 seconds. It seemed longer.
Oh yeah, it definitely did.
But it was so good.
Oh yeah.
Interestingly enough, the very next one was Randy Orton. Randy Orton was supposed to beat the streak.
Oh wow. Okay.
They actually were going to give it to him. And
the Legend Killer.
Yep. But I think Randy said no. Then it was Mark Henry. Mark Henry was also slated to beat the streak. That got
was a casket match.
Yep. Batista was supposed to end the streak. That was nixed.
That was a championship match.
It was, yes. And then Edge. That was 24 minutes. Edge versus Taker.
Wow.
Yeah, after that, he hit some pretty long ones after that.
Yes, he did.
I mean...
A few here and there, no, but...
I didn't actually know that... Well, and after Edge was the 2 Michaels matches in a row, which, if you ever want to teach how wrestling should happen...
Yeah.
just show them those two matches, walk away. What more do you need other than those two guys? Who, by the way, when you watch those matches, do you even remember the build up to both of them? Either build up? No. All you can think about are the two matches. Because they were that good. You didn't need the build-up. They told the story right there. Twice.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember the build-up. I mean, the first year how they did it, and the second year how
that was Heaven versus Hell, wasn't it?
The first one is Heaven versus Hell. Yeah, because Michael's in white. Yeah. And then the second where it was the streak versus a career match. Yeah. With Shawn Michaels.
It's funny because Shawn Michaels actually told the story one time. He left the first Taker match, and he was in the car with his wife, and he said, that wouldn't be a bad match to end everything on. And his wife goes, oh, really? Now you're saying that? So I think that's what led to... And again, this is where the last ride came in so uniquely was... I think Shawn is Shawn to me is like Ray Lewis. Does it... Or John Elway. Does it get better than going out winning the Super Bowl?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
So even though Shawn didn't win at WrestleMania, Shawn... not only had a match that everything pretty much worked, other than the camera guy angle, which they made work. I still can't believe Taker lived, but anyway. But, I mean, if you're Shawn, he's one of the rare guys. What do you do after that? You can't do more.
Yeah.
You walk away, and you're like, that ain't bad to walk away from because, like, I showed that I can still go. Michaels could have wrestled 3 more years at that level.
Could. Oh, yeah,
sure.
And, but, I mean, like, okay, so... Your favorite one of both of those, Jay, was it the first one or the second one?
I liked the second one better.
Leroy?
The second one. The second one was incredible.
Yeah.
To me, I'm going to be honest, because I had nothing to compare it to, that first one just stands out.
The heaven and hell?
It was the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. They're both from Texas. Speaking of which, by the way, he lives in... Yep, by the way, he lives in the same town right now as Mark Henry.
Taker?
Taker does, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Henry from
Silsbee, Texas, I think it is. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's where Mark's actually from, but like that's where he's built from.
Built that, yeah.
But no, actually they're friends. Their kids know each other.
Wow.
They've had dinner together. But anyway, that first one, it was 31 minutes, and here's the deal. I didn't feel like it was too long. Every time I watch that match, it goes by like that for me because I was just so enamored. And I always like heaven versus hell ideas. I think it always works no matter what you do.
That's good.
Yeah,
it's the old tradition of good versus evil.
It writes itself.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
It is wrestling. It's babyface versus heel. Even though technically they were both probably babyfaces at that point, or 2 years.
They were. At that point, they Undertaker.
You don't
even matter with them.
Didn't give a shit.
Then after that, Triple H.
Those
2 years in
those.
Yeah.
Oh God, those.
And
two matches.
the second, I thought, oh my God, they're gonna do 2 in a row. But then they slid in Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee in the second one.
Okay. So Jay, Leroy and I talked about this last week on the show when I reviewed Horror Showing at Fyter Fest. About how the AEW is burying the referees.
Yes.
How they're making them useless.
Yes.
Shawn Michaels proved to me he was the greatest of all time because here's the deal. He proved to you the referee can be a part of the show, but not overshadow the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Sean did Sean things, but don't tell me that wasn't still Taker versus Triple H.
It was.
I don't look at that as a handicap situation.
Me either.
I can't wrap my head around it was 2-on-1. At moments it was, but don't tell me that still isn't their story coming to an end, not just... Michaels was an add-on.
Yes,
you had the cake right there with Shawn not even being a part of it.
Correct.
Shawn
add a little sprinkle.
Shawn was the frosting on top of the cake there, folks. Like, I mean, but the substance was still...
I can see it. I mean, there was times like he wants to help his buddy Triple H, but he was torn. He needs to be the ref. He needs to call it down. But his buddy is going to get hurt.
Was that not the greatest special guest referee performance ever?
Oh,
that was.
Give me another person that was able to and again, some people can look at it and say, "Oh, Shawn was taking away from their moment because they all had all camera shots." Shawn added to it.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels had this weird ability.
I don't remember why Triple H had a second match.
he wanted to event. Okay. So the first match was Triple H defending Shawn.
Okay.
The second match was Triple H trying to be the game again.
Okay.
Okay. The second match was screw Shawn. I don't care.
Yes.
But now Shawn's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but Shawn Michaels to me had this weird ability to do what a lot of people think Kenny Omega does, but Shawn never took away from the match. Shawn never made me annoyed. He never put me to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kenny Omega finger points, he tap dances, he flies.
Yes.
Kenny Omega just gets annoying. Shawn never took away from the performance.
No.
He only added.
Definitely.
So and again, maybe that's a bias when I say that, but am I wrong?
No.
Did you ever think Shawn was too over the top?
No.
On TV. Backstage, he was always over the top.
Oh, yeah, always.
But did you ever think that Shawn being the Heartbreak Kid took away from a match?
I seen Triple H and Undertaker in that match.
Okay.
That's what I more or less seen. I seen Shawn when he wanted to be seen. You know what I mean?
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Yep. No. That's fair.
And then at the end where they ended it, where you can say they broke that barrier, but when they all stood on the edge and thanked the crowd, that kind of at the end, they helped each other out.
Well,
that was very interesting.
Okay. There are two moments in Taker's career that I think it's been officially shown that he broke kayfabe.
Okay.
Number one was there.
Yes.
No, sorry. That was number two. The first one was after he lost to Roman. He went over to Michelle and he kissed her.
Oh, okay.
So in my opinion, those are the only two times I ever saw Taker break kayfabe on screen.
Yes.
Though, give it somebody out there tweet. Message the show on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. Comment. Somebody find me another moment because I don't think it exists.
No,
I don't see it.
I can see him breaking kayfabe with Michelle because he thought it was the end. Then he watched the match and said, "Dear God, why?" So actually, no. This is first. Then Michelle was the last one.
Yeah, Michelle was the last one.
But yes. So yes. Okay. I think this is the first time that Taker broke kayfabe. Okay. Triple H obviously got in trouble for breaking kayfabe along with Shawn. But Shawn was the guy, the curtain call. But Shawn was the guy, so nothing was going to happen to him. So
exactly.
Because actually Hunter was actually supposed to win King of the Ring that year.
Oh, okay.
But they took it away from him because of the curtain call.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
It also shows.
Push him back a little bit.
It also shows how good Hunter was to make it back from that.
That's true.
But because remember,
he was
Vince,
the only one left that was there anyway.
Well, that was the thing. Vince didn't want to hurt Hunter's career,
right.
But he had to save face with the older guys that were still there.
Exactly.
He had to hurt Hunter's career.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think the only time they tried to break him, but they did it was after Raw went off the air. They were it's on YouTube. They were there trying to make the Undertaker do a spinneroonie. That was hilarious. That was so funny.
The running joke behind stage was, can someone get Taker to break character on camera? They tried that for so many years.
Even Vince was out there trying to get him to do it. It never worked.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll finish up the streak here, we'll finish up his WrestleMania career, and then we'll move on to more the character. But next was CM Punk. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have minded the streak ending here, but I get why they didn't do it. And I'm just gonna say this now. I am someone who in a lot of ways has defended CM Punk over the years, but I'm also someone who believes in the same mentality of Mark. You gotta be professional to a point. You just have to. There's a time and place to be the Punk. There's a time and place to buck the establishment, but there's also a time and place to just be a good employee and sort of pull back yourself for the betterment of the show. And that was the first moment where I would have been okay with the streak ending, but I mean, I get why they didn't do it, and maybe it was because Punk was probably not long for that world.
No. It wouldn't have worked.
And then
thank God
we get back to, and Jay, you asked the question earlier, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we get to that faithful night, WrestleMania 30. I was sitting there with some buddies, not all of them wrestling fans, but I was sitting there with my buddies, and I remember when the hand finally hit, I had no emotion, and I just looked at my buddy and I said, oh my God, they actually did it.
Yeah.
They actually did it. And rumor is, Brock, actually not even rumor, it's been confirmed, Brock did not want that. Brock wanted nothing to do with winning that match. But,
I can see that.
But, Jay, if you ever get to see The Last Ride, the conversation he had with Vince makes sense. Because right before he went out, he asked Vince, "Are you sure?" And Vince, and this is where I want in this moment on this show right now. I ain't gonna say this again. I'll probably have to for some people, but
yeah, you might have to.
But here's the deal. I refuse to ever be this passionate about this statement again. Can we put to bed the idea that Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about people? Can we end that right here? Because here's the deal: when you have a soldier that was that loyal for so long, never made the jump to WCW, never left, was always by your side, who was a constant professional and was in the foxhole with you from day one. Taker, the meme on Facebook that will always make me cry, I don't care if I'm with friends or if I'm at home.
No doubt.
Is a picture of Taker, and the caption says, when he had achieved everything, when he had everything he needed, and he still gave back to the business. And the second picture was him hugging Vince after he lost. I will cry.
Oh, that's what's up.
As a man, I will say I will cry because this is and by the way, the last ride proves that Mark didn't fight Vince on the streak ending. He didn't hurt it with Vince. He didn't look at Vince and say, "Well, why Brock?" He believed in what Vince said. And remember, Vince said, "If Brock can't beat you, then who's going to beat you?" Because it's Brock Lesnar.
Right.
If Brock Lesnar can't beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, who is ever going to be legitimate enough?
No, there wouldn't be anybody.
Exactly.
It's not going to matter.
No.
And also remember, Taker was hurt a lot leading up to that WrestleMania. They didn't have a lot of chance to build. So Brock was coming back. He was going to be the champion soon. How do you make Brock white hot? You have him beat the streak. And then you have Paul Heyman go on TV for a straight year after that and remind us every time he had the microphone, the man who ended the streak.
21-1.
The one.
The
one. In
hell out of
21-1.
Yes.
And by the way, the only people that knew the ending of the match were Taker, Vince, and Brock. No one else knew the ending.
Paul didn't even know?
Paul didn't know. Well, hold on a second. I think Paul
looked extremely shocked at the end.
Exactly. Now, here's the deal. I think Paul told a story. I remember Paul telling a story one time, and I don't remember in that story if Paul knew or not, but based on that reaction, I'm going to go with Paul didn't.
Okay.
But all I know is that the referee was told, whoever shoulders are down, you count to 3.
Gotcha.
So imagine the referee. So imagine the world where Billy Kidman's not in your ear saying, "Now's the time for a free count."
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you kick out right at 2, because if the referee is told to just put his hand down at 2.5, he's hitting the mat.
Oh yeah.
And unlike in AEW where you can actually hear the referee count 3, but it's not the ending because they kicked out halfway through because the referees aren't trained to stop at 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
The referees in WWE, if you hit 3, they're ending it. It's over. The referee's calling for the bell. But can you imagine how many things had to go right for that moment to work?
Yeah.
How many?
Oh yeah.
Just like Billy Kidman's not in your ear. The referee doesn't know what the hell's going on. Charles Robinson, the man who counted 3, is just told count 3 when someone's shoulders are down.
Charles Robinson.
I'm the guy who officially called an end to the streak on television.
Yeah.
Is Charles Robinson.
They couldn't have.
And he didn't know.
They couldn't have picked a better person for that too. I mean.
I've always been a fan of Charles Robinson.
But just, I'm not going to lie. I don't get that nervous. I'd be shitting myself.
Oh yeah.
If I'm the referee and I'm told that someone's going to win, but I don't know who it is, whoo!
But there is a bit.
Especially that match.
Oh, God.
There is a YouTube video that Paul Heyman is talking in front of a crowd about that moment. Mm-hmm. And he was going, if Vince said yes, this dude, but what if Brock decided, I'm going to end this streak? Who's going to tell him no?
But that's my point, and this goes
back...
And
it's great that he did that, because it put
that's
that
why
thing in your head going, oh my God.
At some point, our childhood nostalgia, our love of the business, we have to, and this is what this podcast always tries to do, we have to put aside how we feel about what's on camera, and we have to acknowledge there is a business aspect to this. And on the business side of things, going back to what Spot Monkey Wrestling doesn't do, in terms of building realistic credibility, 2 words AEW has never heard of.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all.
You jackasses.
No.
Who, if not Brock, was going to make sense to beat Undertaker at the grandest stage of the night? Who was going to make sense? Because here's the deal. I hate to be that guy, but if Brock doesn't beat him at WrestleMania, ain't no way I'm believing Roman Reigns can do it.
No
way.
No.
If Brock does it, Jay, then all of a sudden you believe he's human. All of a sudden you believe it can happen.
Correct.
The only way Roman Reigns beating him at WrestleMania would ever make sense is if, and I quote, Roman Reigns came after Brock Lesnar.
Correct.
If Roman Reigns
before, no.
Okay. If Brock had won.
Correct.
Or no, lost. I apologize. If Brock had won, we'd be going into Roman Reigns 24-0.
Yep.
I'm not believing Roman Reigns over Brock Lesnar.
No.
I'm not.
No, definitely not.
Brock
I'm not saying that one.
Okay. I remember during the Ruthless Aggression documentary, we got to the Brock Lesnar episode.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman starts the episode explaining Brock's first run with WWE before he left for the NFL.
Okay.
Paul Heyman said something during that speech, and I'm going to pause for a second before I say it, because I want you guys to just get ready for this moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Swig time.
Paul Heyman said, and it's the one thing that stays with me, Brock Lesnar went from the next big thing to winning the Rumble, to winning King of the Ring, to beating the Rock, at, all that stuff. That was his first 23 months in the company. Brock Lesnar went from OVW to the Minnesota Vikings training camp and was the 54th man cut.
Yes.
In less than 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay. You want to tell me that's not a legit human being?
Definitely.
Or not even human being.
Yeah.
A legit beast?
Yeah.
I mean,
beast incarnate.
This is what I'm trying to tell people. You all think it shouldn't have been Brock because he didn't stay, because he wasn't a full-timer, because it didn't elevate. Don't tell me it didn't elevate Brock Lesnar to the most hated motherfucker in the history of business. Don't tell me that you didn't hate Brock. By the way,
I didn't hate Brock.
But here's the deal. But by the way, are we forgetting that when Brock Lesnar went to the UFC after the match, the fans were still angry at him in the UFC because he beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
We went from scripted to non-scripted, and we're still pissed.
Yeah. See, I was never mad at Brock for that.
Neither was I.
I was just. It's like me. I was sitting. I don't know if anybody was with me watching this. I was watching it by myself, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was like, jaw drop. What? Oh my God. I cannot believe that happened.
And I guarantee that was the reaction from you all the way down to people half my age.
Yeah.
At the time.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a moment where I just was completely and utterly, and I don't want to say speechless because the joke is I talk too much, which is fine. But no, I know.
It's true.
It's very true. But no, I'm going to be honest. I've never had a moment where my mind just couldn't wrap around what happened. I remember, that wasn't even the last match.
No, it wasn't.
I remember the show was over and my brain still didn't fathom what it had saw. That should have been the main event only because where do you go from that?
Yeah.
And
what do you do?
And it was Daniel Bryan winning the title. That was the main event. But
I still
who remembers that?
No. WrestleMania.
I didn't know what the main
that
event
at the
was.
Superdome. You think of Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker.
It was the miracle on Bourbon Street. Daniel Bryan went 2-0 that night at WrestleMania, and ain't nobody remembers.
Oh, okay, yep.
And ain't nobody
that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody remembers because all they can think about is Brock pinned Taker.
Yes.
Yeah, you think of that and then say, "Oh yeah, I remember down." Oh yeah, that did happen
that
on here,
did happen.
But Brock pinned Undertaker. Who cares about that?
Which by the way, was one of the greatest title victories ever. But I still don't remember it as the number one thing that happened at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's a moment when you go to Vince and be like, "Why the hell did you put me on after that?
Yeah.
What am I doing after this?"
Yeah.
I just.
Well, they tried.
Oh,
and by the way, the guy who will always be famous, the big black guy who had the wide eyes. He was actually rooting for Lesnar.
Oh, wow.
He said he was actually rooting for Brock Lesnar, but he just still couldn't fathom what happened.
Hell
well,
no.
it's the street.
He like,
I know.
It's like 21 years of WrestleMania, and you just like, oh, the Undertaker's, he's gonna win.
Oh,
you just, it's just, you
deal.
think
but here's
it's
the deal.
automatic, and then boom, they do that to you.
But hold on. Let me ask you this, though. And this is me asking, did Mark do a good job to you two? Did you ever think for 1 second before Brock, did Mark make you believe the streak was actually going to end any other night, or did you actually just believe he was going to win?
I thought he was going to win.
You never believed the streak was in jeopardy?
I never believed the streak was ever in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, same with me. I thought he would end his reign as a wrestler
undefeated
at WrestleMania.
Well, remember, as Mark said, nobody walks away from this business undefeated. It doesn't happen. Nobody walks out like that. Not even Brock's walking out like that. And,
Definitely.
And I've said before on the show, if fully healthy, ain't nobody in real life beating Brock Lesnar in a fight.
No.
Not a thing.
But Brock have no problem passing the torch.
But that's my thing is that don't tell me it didn't enhance Brock. Don't tell me that it hasn't equaled Brock Lesnar being one of the biggest ratings gains in the history of the business in the short time he's been since that WrestleMania. Brock's still living off that crap, and it still feels like you ripped my heart out last week.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Should we go to the next ones? All right.
Bray Wyatt. I still think Bray should have won because he's not taking the streak, but it would have helped Bray moving forward. But I get that it was a comeback to make us believe Taker was still there. Shane McMahon obviously wasn't going to win because they went forward with the moving into the SmackDown Live era shortly after that.
Yep.
Roman Reigns winning was kind of a shock, but at the same time, I got it. I understood it. Yeah. It made sense. John Cena just wanted a match with Taker.
That's it.
That's all he said. He just wanted that.
He wanted his name on the list.
All right, John, we're going to squash you. And maybe then, 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do it.
And then we get to the Boneyard Buried Alive match. AJ, now, okay, Jay, the documentary, Last Ride, chronicled Taker at Extreme Rules when he tagged with Roman versus Shane and, was it Drew McIntyre?
Yes, Shane and Drew.
Okay, so, interesting note. Taker walked back to the gorilla position after that match. Okay. He looked Vince in the eye and said, I think I'm done. Taker was happy at that being his last match.
Oh, okay.
That Taker was happy. He would have been fine. Okay. AJ Styles called him and said, what do you think? Now, mind you, earlier in the documentary, Taker was backstage at the Royal Rumble. I forget which one. But he was backstage and he was looking at the TV and it was AJ's match, and he said, that's the guy that I'd like to work with, AJ.
Sure, yeah.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, that is.
I don't give a damn who. I don't give a damn who it. No, very few people are going to. But again, this proves why I think AJ went from TNA straight to the main roster. He gets it. AJ. As much as I think AJ Styles built TNA, AJ Styles never made sense. And it sounds crazy because he was the X Division.
He was.
But when I watched an AJ Styles match, and not early TNA, not when they were in Nashville, but like later on when Hogan was there, when Bischoff was there, when Rick was there, AJ to me felt like he understood things on a different level than what TNA was doing. He got his segments were must see to me. Now I think AJ became AJ Styles that we all know and love now, more so after he left TNA. He had the little indie run. Then he went to New Japan and the Bullet Club. That's when I think AJ became a star, a superstar. But
everything around his last match was interesting because Michelle wanted him to be done.
But she was okay with AJ.
But it was like
Jay, he called Michelle and said AJ wants a match, and Michelle, despite watching her husband go through surgery after surgery, after broken neck almost happening in Saudi Arabia with Goldberg. By the way, putting this report dead to bed, the report that Taker was super angry at Bill Goldberg.
He was mad at the whole thing.
No. It's incorrect because Taker said in the last ride, Goldberg got concussed. It was no one's fault. It happened. So so that report that Taker was again, this is why I tell people, don't believe everything you read on the internet. The backstage, we don't know until it comes out from the guys themselves. Here's the deal. Taker's a professional. He gets it. Goldberg got concussed, whether it was hitting himself in the head on the door of the arena before he went out, or it happened when he hit the ring post. Bill got hurt. It happened. He wasn't angry at Bill Goldberg. He was angry at how it came out. But he wasn't angry with Goldberg.
Yes.
But, again, Mark understands that things happen.
Oh, yeah.
He understands this. But if your own wife, who just wants you to come home, who just wants you to be with your young daughter, who I think is like 9 now.
Yes.
His daughter
I think
with Michelle's about 9 years old.
Yeah.
If she says go for it, then I think you have to look at yourself and say, okay, even she thinks something. Because here's the deal. Name one person other than Yoshitatsu that's been hurt by AJ. But that was Yoshi's fault because he didn't tuck his neck in New Japan. He actually broke his neck on the during the Styles Clash.
Oh, okay.
But that's because Yoshitatsu didn't not tuck his head. He didn't pull his head back. Remember, Sting doesn't blame Seth for the buckle bomb because Sting was supposed to tuck his head, but instead he didn't, and his head whipped back.
Yes.
AJ Styles is known for crazy stunts, but no one gets hurt with AJ. Knock on wood. But here's the deal. He's known as a crazy high flyer, but he's a safe high flyer. And also, I've never, outside of when AJ Styles became the phenomenal one, not the early days of AJ Styles, because that was the X Division they were trying to get over. He was doing crazy stuff.
True.
He hasn't done high-flying maneuvers that make you go, how are you not dead?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do that. He never did that.
His high-flying makes sense. His dives make sense.
Yep.
And when I look at AJ, I look at the best wrestler in the world. I look at a guy that don't tell me that anyone can't stand toe-to-toe with AJ. AJ can have a match with Brock and it makes sense. He can have a match with Big Show and it makes sense. He can have a match with Eric Young, who's half the size of Brock, let alone Big Show, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, also, AJ's family knew Taker's family.
Behind the scenes. Yeah,
their families were like friends.
The wives were friends. They got together. Their kids got together. They knew it, so that they were friends outside of the arena in real life.
They weren't like huge friends. I don't think it was a situation where I think the wives knew each other and were friendly, but I don't think they hung out a lot because remember, AJ lives in Gainesville, Georgia. Taker lives in Texas. But here's the thing. Okay, watching that match, the only thing I hate is that it wasn't in front of fans. That the only issue I have, and that is the only way that I ever see Taker coming back because Taker said he's done.
Correct.
In the documentary, out of his own words. By the way, this shows how big Taker's career was. That wasn't just reported on WWE Facebook. That was on 80 different Facebook sites. CNN, I'm pretty sure, covered the fact that Taker said he was done. Everybody talked about
ESPN, everybody,
But anyway, going back to we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, outside of the fact that the Boneyard match is one of the best things they've done in probably 10 years, it was cinematically brilliant. It was perfect.
It was.
I'm just sad that Taker wasn't able to say goodbye in front of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
That's the only issue I have.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
And I said this at the time to Allison when we watched the Boneyard match. It worked because they both believed in it. They both gave everything. It was gimmicky. It was weird.
It was cool.
But here's the deal. It worked. AJ Styles believed that, you know what, I'm not going to get my big 80,000 person moment. And I think at this point, AJ's what, 1-3 at WrestleMania? He might be 0-4 out.
No, I think he has one at WrestleMania.
He has one WrestleMania? Okay, but here's the deal. This was AJ Styles being AJ Styles and saying, I got a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Kill me now, my career's complete. And it's possibly the last match of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
But here's my thing is it worked. It just, for some reason, it worked. AJ, and remember, AJ was mean.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
His promos and oh my God.
He brought everything on that table. He did not leave anything.
He made Michelle want to come down and slap him in the face. That's when you know you got something going, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But I just, AJ Styles took that match, didn't give any respect to The Undertaker. He didn't say, I'm going to take down the Phenom. He said, I'm going to beat Mark Calloway. He broke the fourth wall. And I remember, and it didn't make sense to me until I saw the Last Ride documentary. But Taker talked about during the build-up, you're going to face the unholy trinity. I didn't know what that meant until
it was explained.
Until the documentary, and Taker explained. You're going to face the Dead Man, you're going to face the American Badass, and you're going to face Mark Calloway.
Okay.
So that was the unholy trinity that Taker was talking about.
And you saw everything. I mean, and then when he's at one part, he goes like boom, and all of a sudden, boom, that symbol and his fire's up there and that stuff. That during the match, it's like AJ was like, "Holy crap!
Here's my question.
He can do this," and you could see the fear on his face that I'm gonna die.
Right.
Here's my question to you guys, and I want you two to kind of have that conversation between the two of you.
For sure.
Outside of the fact that there wasn't 80,000 people, is there any better way for Taker to have walked? Do you see something that was so egregious that he should do one more? Other than maybe Vince feeling bad that Taker didn't get to have that moment in front of the fans. What was wrong about the Boneyard scenario to you two? Go ahead and just the two of you.
For me, nothing. I mean, it was a great match, a great back and forth. You saw every element of the Undertaker, and when he finished, he got on his bike and he took that last ride into the sunset. You know, the gunslinger riding the horse into the sunset where you see.
For those of you who are wondering, these two are having this conversation, but I'm in the corner about to cry. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, hey, you can cry. That's all right. It's all right. But yeah, I mean, that's with me. It's like the last of the Undertaker.
It felt like the end, didn't it?
It did.
I agree. I think that match was well put together.
Okay. In your opinion, was this the first time that you, outside of him putting the gloves down, because I think that was so symbolic, we all thought it was.
Yeah, definitely.
But here's the deal. Is this the time that you think he's actually done? Unless Vince calls. Breaks glass, gets out the bat signal.
I believe so, with the Final Ride documentary and all that in place, I think.
And then you got Metallica in the background, like, just come, how do you get better than Metallica?
You can't. I mean,
it's Metallica.
It's like,
and the fact that it was a boneyard match, you know, I think that ends it perfect for his character, of who he is, you know.
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's ended better than just in a normal in-ring match.
Okay, yeah.
To me.
Well, and see, here's what's unique. I actually remember sitting up 2 days after it, because I watched it about a half dozen times. Okay, I did. I thought back to when I actually first thought the streak was going to end, and it was Randy Orton. That's when I first thought, okay, they're going to end.
With Randy Orton?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the deal. I sat up and I said to myself, how do you end this? What is the way to end it? What's the perfect way? And then I sat back, and I think it was the 6th or 7th time I watched the Bone. I said to myself, everything that he's been, from kayfabe to the imagery to the vignettes, everything. Cinematic was the only way, in my opinion, you could actually have ended it. So I think it was perfect only because it put to bed my questions of how to end. Because, and remember, and Leroy, we never got to a lot of his accolades in terms of wins and everything, but let's just put it this way. I don't want to list those off, and here's why. His entire career, it was above the world title.
It was.
It was above any belt you could have ever put on.
His WrestleMania matches is better than the title.
Undertaker is the prime example of, if you think that the only way you're ever going to get respect in this business is by being the world champion for 200 plus days, you're so wrong. And his whole career, first of all, extremely decorated in WWE. Won a lot of matches. Won a lot of titles.
Oh yeah,
was
definitely.
It like a 6 or 7 time champion?
Oh yeah, yep, something like that.
6 or 7 world titles. 7 world titles. Okay, but here's the deal.
Well,
is it?
Yeah, 7.
Okay. Anyway, but here's my thing. I don't want to focus on his championships, and I think when you talk about an appreciation night in any other sport, you want to talk about the numbers, the titles, the rings.
Yeah.
LeBron James is judged by rings. Jordan is judged by rings. Taker is not judged by how many times they gave him the belt, because here's the deal. He is on my list of guys. It don't matter who's got the belt at that time. He shows up. He's the guy. He's the man.
Yep.
The belt don't mean shit when it comes to Undertaker. Undertaker, they always say no one is bigger than the belt.
That's true.
Taker's bigger than the belt.
Yep.
And that's my proclamation.
Right.
Well, here's the interesting, where it's on the bottom here.
Yeah.
Undertaker headlined WrestleMania 13.
Okay.
WrestleMania 20. 14. No, that's not.
24. Sorry.
24.
Yep. 26.
27. Or is that 26?
That's
26.
Yeah.
33 and 36.
So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 WrestleManias.
How many people can say? How many wrestlers can you put down and saying they have headlined that many WrestleManias?
How many guys have won?
WrestleMania.
How many guys have won?
On top of that, yeah.
Yeah, I think
we're gonna have to do that on another show.
I think all those matches he has won.
Did he win all of them?
I believe so. You'd have to look it up real quick.
Well, it's right here. Okay, so WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 13. Was the first one. WrestleMania 13, the first one. So okay, That was Psycho Sid.
Yep.
Then was WrestleMania 24. That was so many papers we got here. WrestleMania 24. That was Edge. Won the world title.
Yep.
WrestleMania 33. Did he lose to Roman that night?
33?
That was the loss to Roman, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 26 though was that the Hell in a Cell? Was 26? I can't remember off the top of my head. That was Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
That was the
number
second
2.
Shawn match.
Yes.
So outside of Roman, he won 4 of those. So when you're 4-1 in the main event,
yes.
Of the granddaddy of all pay-per-views.
All the show, the Super Bowl in a sense.
The Super Bowl of WWE pay-per-views.
I hate to be that guy, but I think it's the Super Bowl of just wrestling in general.
Yeah,
it is.
No offense.
I'm gonna go down.
No offense to Wrestle Kingdom, but
no.
If WrestleMania ain't on your bucket list, what the hell are you doing in this business?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But no, it's just. So we're gonna sort of wrap things up here in a way that I thought about this literally on the drive over, and I kept it from Jay. I kept it secret from you, but here's how. So we're gonna go around, and Leroy, I want to start with myself because I just want to get out of the way. A couple minutes. I'm gonna give everybody here. Thank the Undertaker in the way that you think is the best, and I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not even gonna speak to the Undertaker. I'm gonna speak to Mark Calloway. And I'm going to say it like this, and if I get too emotional, F you all, I don't care. This man's been more a part of my life than most people I know. It's incredible. But I want to thank Mark Calloway for a couple of things. Number one is thank you for believing in the version of this business that I love. Kayfabe stories, telling stories, having proper matches. Thank you for your sacrifice, not just in the ring, but out of the ring. Because think about it. He was never in the spotlight. He didn't make money on appearances because he didn't make appearances. He was never in the crowd for Hall of Fame speeches. When it was everyone come out to the ring, he wasn't there. I just thank you for not being able to have the moments that some of your peers had because you believed in it so much. Thank you for believing that I was more important than yourself. I'm a viewer. I'm a fan. You put me above yourself. You put me above your own family. You missed people dying. Michelle, okay, Jay, Mark's brother died 2 days before the Boneyard match.
Oh, wow.
And he still went out there and did that.
See, that's the dedication. That's dedication.
I can't even say thank you enough. Like, I mean, I can sit here and say thank you for the memories, thank you for the matches, the moments, but when I watch the documentary, I have to thank Mark Calloway, not The Undertaker.
I agree.
Because this is the first time I learned what he okay, they all sacrifice holidays, birthdays, family, time. They all sacrifice that.
They all do, yes. But, all athletes, mostly.
To actually list what he sacrificed, all I can say is thank you. I'm speechless to find the words other than thank you. I don't know what else to say.
How many years in the business?
33 years.
Right now, 33, okay.
So, I mean, I have to look at myself in the mirror and I have to be like, would I do that? Could I give all that up?
Right.
I mean, you think about the fact that his young daughter with Michelle, actually, I think they have 2 kids, Michelle and
I know about
I know about his youngest, but that's really the first kids that he has been in their life consistently because he was only working once a year.
Correct.
So you think about the fact because he has kids outside of Michelle's marriage.
We got Sarah.
Yeah.
He was married twice.
No, but like how many kids do he and Michelle have?
I think they only have one.
They only have the one daughter.
Girl.
Okay, yeah, okay, but it's just.
But you have 2 with Sarah, I believe.
I think he has a son and a daughter with them. Yeah.
He has his first wife, Jody. He had a son.
Yep.
Second wife, Sarah.
Yep.
Okay.
He had 2 daughters.
Okay, so he's got 4 kids.
And he has 1 child.
Yeah, so he has 4 kids. But he's really only been in the life of this youngest one. And he's like 50-something.
Yeah.
And she's like 9.
Yes.
She goes to college. She's gonna be like 65, 70 years old. But here's my thing.
She's 8.
She's 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you put your body through, what you put your family through. I mean, this might seem like a really cheesy way to end this, but
no, not at all.
All I can do is sit here and say we could do 8 hours on this damn thing.
Oh, we could.
Oh yeah.
But it's all gonna come back to thank you. Because I don't know if I could give up my life with my family the way he did. I don't know if I can do that.
Right.
I'm extremely lucky. I'm a guy who went 25 years, and I'll just say it, 25 years, never had a date, never had a girl, nothing in my life. And I found her, and I don't know what, and I mean, I don't know, I can barely do a week away from the girl. I'm serious.
No doubt.
I'm serious. As cheesy high school as that sounds,
no, not at all.
I'm 28 years old. I should be past that point. I found that one person. I don't know if I can do it. He did it for 33 years, 3 times.
Yes.
And to be honest, maybe the first 2 marriages didn't work because of the business. I don't know. But to sacrifice what you did for this,
it came found to me.
I can't. I can't. I mean, okay. I mean, like, I've said my 2 words. I can't say them again. Leroy, I'm gonna go over to you.
I'll give Jay.
Jay,
I'll give the guest.
You are our guest. We will give you the floor.
Appreciate it.
Your words to Mark.
You said it all. You mean everything you said. I totally agree with you. How he sacrificed his family, his time, and for us in general. And I want to thank Mark. I want to thank the man, not the character. I want to thank him as well because he's part of my childhood. I mean, for someone to be part of your childhood and you grow up and it consistently be there.
And he was still there in your adulthood too.
And still there now.
And
he's still here now.
Never a shell of himself. Well,
no.
At times, but he walked away not a shell of himself.
Right.
He walked away as the phenom.
From my opinion and my experience, from the day one of seeing the Undertaker, I have seen nothing less but the Undertaker. Rather, it was he was calling himself the American Badass or whatever case may be.
Yeah.
No matter what, I still seen the same character. I still seen,
Big Evil.
Yes, indeed. I'll make you famous.
Yeah.
You know that area.
I mean, Leroy, we've covered a lot. What do you have to say? I mean, you've watched everything.
One more thing.
Oh yeah, no, please. No. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, as watching Undertaker throughout the years, I even though I'm not in the locker room personally, I'm there.
Oh yeah.
You guys know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
We're there. We're part of the locker room.
Yeah.
I have watched and seen over the times of the Undertaker, like John Cena, for example.
Yeah.
Give them that what they need to be in the business to become their character who
he always wanted everyone else to be better.
A hand up, yes. A lot of characters. I don't want to bury no one like Nash or anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I heard a lot of different wrestlers quick to bury young talent.
Yeah.
Or
they don't want to leave the money spot.
No.
He never cared about that spot.
He didn't care about.
He gave up the streak because it made sense to Vince, who was the promoter.
Giving back to the business. That's what I appreciate.
And I'll be honest, Brock didn't need it, but you can't say it didn't help him.
No.
He didn't need it, and also I think Brock would even admit it's made him a lot of money post WrestleMania 30.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I'm sorry, Leroy.
No.
Oh no, that's sorry, man. No worries.
It's fine.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree with both of you. Thank Mark, thank the Undertaker, thank Vince McMahon.
Vinnie Mac.
It wasn't for him. I mean, it introduced my childhood and everything. I saw him when I was about the same age as my son.
Right.
And I got to experience that with my son. It's like, hey, the Undertaker, watch this.
Right.
And he was and I've said this before. We were watching his pay-per-view, and he saw Undertaker come out, and he was like, "Oh my God!" He was in as much awe as I was, and I love that he's been in the business that long that I could share the love of his character with my kids.
And okay, so you two are the like, not to interrupt, but to speak on Mark's own words. I have a question for both of you. Being parents, the Boneyard match. Is there any part of you that's going to turn to your kids and say, well, you should have seen him win?
No.
Or is that the version that you want your kid to know is the Boneyard version?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was
I say
a good way to go out.
They all seem like iconic matches to me. None of them take nothing away from the other to me, as far as who his matches go and what he did.
So again, to quote Mark,
yes,
I don't want a dad to turn to his son and say, well, you should have seen him then.
You gotta worry about me.
Neither one of you plan on ever saying that to anybody.
No,
mine is like, you like this match? Yeah. Let's watch the other ones because he put on so many great matches. Yeah. It's like, let's watch this one because this one is just as good. This one is just as good.
Funny to me that my 7-year-old daughter, she's a huge Undertaker fan.
Yeah.
And she can already do the eye roll.
Oh my God.
That's
awesome.
Yes.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, whether or not I had a longer thank you than Leroy or Jay, doesn't matter.
No.
We can't, but again,
we all feel the same.
But again, let me say this: we could have done this for 8 hours.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We could have.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm emotional.
I want to throw in there real quick.
Yeah.
I have had that experience to watch him wrestle a match live.
Really?
In Minneapolis. He was American Badass at the time, but I want to say that was the best match.
But you said it yourself. It was always the same character to you. There were just different evolutions of it.
That's it. That's all it was.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I've seen guys who have had character evolutions, but it like killed the character to me, and they had to go backwards.
Oh, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
So
and sometimes you can't come back.
No. But I mean, again, can you imagine the risk he took to become the American Badass?
Oh God, yeah.
That was a crazy risk.
It was a huge risk, I would say.
But yeah, but as I said, it's like, well, I feel sharing that with my kid, like Jay was with his daughter.
Yeah.
How it makes you feel? It's like, wow, this guy has influenced me, but my kids, you know, it's like, oh my God,
they feel what I feel.
So
yeah.
I mean, I guess the only way to end this is, I'll say it again. I echo Willie, the greatest character ever. And I don't think you'll find a much better human being. I mean, we're all flawed. No one's perfect, but my God, and again, going back to what you said, Jay, about helping the younger generation.
Yes.
If anyone didn't have to,
it was him.
It was him.
It was him.
But he felt like he needed to.
And the longevity of it, he didn't have to be here that long. No.
Taker could have walked away after any of the Shawn matches. He could have walked away after
Triple H.
Call me crazy. He could have walked away after Randy Orton, and everyone would have been like, "Yeah, you still one of the goats, bro."
Yes. Easily. Easily.
So I mean, but again, it is one of those moments in time. Him driving away, I will never forget, and I will always be able to look back. And again, when I have my opportunity to have someone in my, a little one in my life, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to say, well, you should have seen him back.
No.
Yeah.
If there is anyone out there listening, if you have a feeling that you are going to look at a small child and say, well, you should have seen him when, you didn't watch that match properly. You have no business talking about The Undertaker if you don't think that was him still able to go, and the only thing that I missed from that moment was the chance of you still got it. That's the only thing I miss.
Me too.
But like I said, if there was ever a perfect moment to end it, I think you found it. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Jay, thank you, sir.
Thank you
for coming on.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me here. And I do look forward to joining you guys again in the future.
Little different than I think the show we were planning on bringing you on for, but again, this was a show that, like I told you, there's no prep needed, there's no nothing. You just got to come on and talk from the heart.
I enjoy myself to hang out with you guys.
Thank you, Leroy. Any parting thoughts for anyone?
Nah, just if you feel like it, just get on the network, watch Undertaker, watch all his stuff.
So good.
Watch The Last Ride. Gotta watch The Last Ride and everything, and just enjoy.
I'm gonna try to compose myself for our outro here. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Jay's probably gonna get a few more subs on YouTube after this is over from his friends and family there. But like I said, thank you all for listening. And like I said, find us on other forms and platforms of social media. And if you ever want to be on the show, we're not that hard to find. Jay's proof of it. Like we found him, we asked him on the show, and he said, let's do it. So
super excited.
Once again, thank you, Jay. And for all of you out there, we will see you next time.